feel good about their chances tonight after a pair of blowout wins against the Bombers last year. Winner tonight gets a share of first place in the West. Miscues and misadventures were very costly for Winnipeg last week.
It is blocked, picked up for a Calgary Stampeder touchdown.
Effectively ending any chance the Bombers had of pulling off a last-second win in Calgary. This week, they'll have to be at their sure-handed best against Edmonton's ferocious and opportunistic defense.
It's picked off, and it's a pick six.
Which, along with a big play offense, has led the Eskimos to back-to-back wins. Bombers, Eskimos, the CFL on TSN is next. There's a look at Drew Willie, who leads the CFL in completion percentage and quarterback rating, but he had some struggles on the final drive last week in Calgary. He'll look to bounce back in a place the Bombers have really struggled in recent years. We had a pair of fantastic finishes tonight, both games decided by 3 points. We'll see if we can live up to that again. Hello and welcome to the CFL on TSN. I'm Farhan Lalji, and I am joined by the panel of Jock Climie, Milt Stiegel, and Chris Schultz. And guys, when we think of the Edmonton Eskimos, we think defense, a team that's given up just 55 points, led by Chris Jones. That's the lowest total in the CFL. But now the Eskimos have some offensive pieces. Schultz, who are you most looking forward to seeing?
Farhan, the number one thing I'm looking forward to tonight is running back Shakir Bell. Can he duplicate the 144 yards as he did against Ottawa last week? It's not so much what he did, but the way he did it. I mean, this is classic. You can't teach a running back to be that elusive and to have that level of determination. You either have it or you don't. If Shakir Bell has success, it's sure going to help their quarterback situation with Matt Nichols.
Well, I want to see that Winnipeg's offensive line against Edmonton's defensive line. And Odell Willis, the mayor who almost got impeached last week, came out and said this Winnipeg offensive line is average at best. Well, it'll be interesting to see how they match up. Marcus Howard is having a great year, but Odell has not registered a sack yet. This Winnipeg offensive line has spent a lot of money on them, so they need to protect their quarterback and have a great game.
And in terms of the passing game, I'm looking and focusing on Edmonton Eskimos secondary, led by Aaron Grimes, and he's a guy that I really enjoy watching, and he could probably use a haircut, but I love the way he plays a game of football. He's a fly-around type style defender, and he's going to go up against Clarence Denmark, who leads the league in average yards per catch. He's so dangerous, is Denmark. These two guys are going to go head-to-head, and that's a matchup that really intrigues me in this one, Farhan.
Love Grimes' hair. Now, you know the last time Winnipeg managed to win a game in Edmonton? 1996, 2006, almost 9 years to the day, and that guy played a pretty big part in that game. Brings up some good memories. Touchdown here. They called it the
Edmonton Eskimos ran a blitz. They brought everybody and let you just run free, Milt.
But Jock, earlier you were saying this is the greatest play in football history, Milt.
I have never said that,
Milt. You and Schultz both were saying that.
That's not true.
They all fell down. They all wanted to tackle you.
Hey, Jock, I turned invisible.
And Ryan Rashog have the call.
And it is a rainy, rainy day. Dark clouds over Commonwealth Stadium. The 2-2 Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the 2-1 Edmonton Eskimos meet for the first time this season.
Shakir Bell burst out of the scene last week, 144 yards rushing. He's going to get his opportunity again tonight. Why not? This kid's spectacular. On the other side of the football, a guy looking to eat a little bit more, get some more touches. It's Paris Cutton, kind of forgotten man. Since week one, his numbers have gone down because his touches have gone down. Paris Cutton wants the football.
Mike O'Shea saying it's gut check time. It's going to be sky check time as well. Rain in the forecast today, but coming off a heartbreaking loss in Calgary last week, the Blue Bombers, and have not won in Edmonton in quite some time. For Chris Jones, his Eskimos coming off 2 straight wins against the Ottawa Red Blacks, back-to-back home and home. And the Eskimos are back home under cloudy skies, under rainfall. Last week in Ottawa, they played in a deluge, and their playing in rain again today as the Blue Bombers kick it off. Back to bring it back is Kendall Lawrence. Downfield very quickly is Derek Jones on the special teams tackle. And Matt Nichols will bring his offense on the field. And Matt Dunnigan, let's check our starters to watch.
Absolutely. You start with Nichols right there. You know, numbers aren't pretty, but he's getting the W's. I love that. We've talked about Shakir Bell. He'll get his opportunity tonight. Why not beat him with those big boys up front? Kendall Lawrence, not a big factor in the ground game last week, but certainly got it done through the air. A couple of big-time weapons for Matt Nichols looking to get on track this year.
And again, they ran the football a lot last week because of the conditions, and it makes you wonder if Mother Nature will have her say again. Nichols comes out throwing, slant pattern to former Blue Bomber, and maybe that sets the tone as well. Corey Watson, who was traded to Saskatchewan and then flipped to Edmonton in the offseason. So Watson makes the first play from scrimmage against his former teammates.
Absolutely. They go double tights, meaning 2 extra offensive linemen on a line of scrimmage, and they throw a quick pass, strike, little slant to Watson. Absolutely love that for 11-yard gain.
1st and 10, just over the 40-yard line. This time there's a whistle. Our referee today is Kim Murphy.
Procedure, Edmonton, number 57. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
There have been a lot of procedure calls in the early season. And there, of course, are some new rules that some of the teams have to adapt to. Let's take a look at the starters to watch.
Yeah, put Zach Anderson in the middle because he's going to be tested against a powerful Eskimo rushing game. And the 2 guys in the back end, I'm really impressed with Bruce Johnson, halfback, and Damone Washington, one of the most athletic DBs in the league.
A turn in a hand and a fumble and a Winnipeg turnover. Shakir Bell fumbled the football, and the Blue Bombers have picked it up. A takeaway by the Blue Bombers as Shakir Bell, on his first touch after a 144-yard performance in his debut last week, can't handle the rock, and it slips from his grasp.
Yeah, it does, and this is something you're concerned with because, you know, all the good things that happened to him last week, he's a back that did put the ball on the ground. That was concerning, and with these weather conditions, that's likely to happen. Ball security is paramount. And right here, that's just a good defensive play by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, knifing in there, playing in the other side of the line of scrimmage, forcing that turnover.
Bruce Johnson recovers, so Drew Willie brings his offense on the field. Blue Bombers have another takeaway here. They get the ball at the Edmonton 33. Willie. And again, some penalty flags, and we had movement once again, just as the ball was snapped.
Couldn't ask for a better situation for the Bombers out of the gate. Quick turnover, great field position. Got to capitalize on
Winnipeg,
this.
number 17. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
That was receiver Nick Moore who got a head start on the line of scrimmage. So Mike O'Shea and his Blue Bombers trying to capitalize here on this turnover, Matt Dunnigan. And here is a team that threw the ball a lot on first downs last week, and Drew Willie was sensational.
13 of 14 on those first down completions. Only one he missed on was the last pass he threw in the game. Turnover. Say hello to Juwan Simpson. That was a tough one for Willie.
Not this time, though. He hands it off to Paris Cotton. 3-yard pickup.
Yeah, look at Winnipeg and the offensive starters. Got to start with Drew Willie. Phenomenal completion percentage. Leads the league there. And I believe it starts with the center, Dominic Picard, who's been a leader in that locker room on the football field. Really shored up that made-over offensive line. And Paris Cotton, we talked about him off the top. Got to get him more touches involved, particularly in conditions like this.
Well, throwing down now. 2nd down. 12 yards to go for Willie and company. Drew steps up. And it is almost picked off in and out of the hands of Paris Cotton. And so far, this game really resembling the game the Eskimos played last week in the rain in Ottawa. And you got to think that traction and hanging on to the ball security are going to be paramount here today.
Absolutely. And this is great pass protection. Willie steps up and just dumps it down. And just shows you how slick the ball is, and the conditions out there right now making it tough to hang on to the pigskin. Both running backs have put the ball on the ground.
So Lirim Haralahu comes out. This will be from about the 42.5-yard line. His longest this season is 52, 6 of 8 on the season, and this one isn't going to be close. Wide right. Kendall Lawrence decides to bring it out, and Lawrence has some room here. To the 20, to the 30, and Kendall Lawrence is going to run out of steam and run out of ground, but a good return. And so nothing comes of the turnover early on. Eskimos get good field position. They don't give up a point. Matt Nichols comes back on the field here as the Eskimos and Blue Bombers tangle in Edmonton. The CFL on TSN continues.
Ain't no secrets to the way we play. When we win, we play aggressive on defense, and we go get them and we tackle. On offense, we handle the ball. We make sure that we take care of the football. We block people and we run. Got it? That's what we do. All right? Special teams, we play fast and we play physical. When we win games, that's what we do. It ain't no secret. Get a break, go win the game. Let's do it.
Simple. Short and sweet message from Chris Jones as Matt Nichols comes out gunning to Darius Bowman. Bowman coming into this season after a huge year last year. Last week in Ottawa had a couple of drops in the rain early on, but picks up 6 on this play.
Yeah, Rod, during the break, we were talking, feel like it's going to be a low-scoring football game. I'm with you on that one, particularly in these conditions. First down production is 6 yards. I think any team in these conditions will take that.
So 2nd and 4. Here comes the blitz, and there goes the football. Kendall Lawrence on the far sideline. I know you used to give Brandon Whitaker that nickname two-way. You might want to consider Kendall Lawrence three-way.
Oh, yeah, it's just fantastic. And this is busting coverage. Winnipeg's got to be better than that. You know, this guy's one of the most explosive players in the field. If you take a look at it, he's going to slip out of the backfield, and he's all by himself. And he's going to watch 2 go deep with a vertical stretch on Bowman. Nobody picks up Lawrence in the boundary, and that's a 22-yard pickup. Easily done for the Edmonton Eskimos.
Former Missouri Tiger. Plays slot, plays running back, plays special teams. Now some communication in the back field that went astray, but Nichols is dropped just past the line of scrimmage. Jamal Westerman got him by the shoe tops.
Yeah, and he's got his motor running, and it is pretty nicely done. He's standing in a 2-point stance to the line of scrimmage. He's right here, and he goes inside, goes around Batiste, and that's a hustle play.
2nd and 8, wobbly ball, but Kenny Stafford hangs on and will move the sticks again. Right in front of Damon Washington and Shawnee Adams. The former Montreal Alouette picks up 9.
That's huge. 2nd and long, advantage defense, but Edmonton's able to handle it and just sit down. Right in the zone coverage. Ball thrown on timing. Nice job by Stafford securing that one.
So now inside the 30-yard line, Eskimos cough up the football on their first possession, but now are driving it. They have fumbled more than any other team in the league. Now Lawrence can't cut it outside. Matt Buckner is there, and a penalty flag that falls late on the far side of the field. No room to roam for Kendall Lawrence on that play, but let's see what the call
Major
is.
foul, face mask. Edmonton, number 32. 15 yards from the end of the play. It will be 2nd down.
So they're calling Kendall Lawrence, the ball carrier, on the face mask. Likely a straight arm here that got into somebody's grill.
That's right, on Matt Buckner right here. And Buckner, he's horse collaring Kendall Lawrence, and Kendall Lawrence, his face mask in his fingers, pinky, is up in Buckner's face mask, and he gets the call against him.
So Lawrence on the sideline now. Shakir Bell in the backfield. 2nd down and 24. They swing it out to Devin Bailey. Towering receiver, Devin Bailey, out of Mississauga and played at St. FX. First-round pick of the Eskimos back in 2014 will not get close to the initial line of scrimmage, and the Eskimos will have to bring out their kick team.
Yeah, this is not a good feeling when you're running a little hit screen on the inside and you've got a lot of pursuit coming from inside out, and they're usually big from that area coming at you, and he pays the price for the big lick there in a second and long situation, almost second and impossible if they didn't come close to picking up.
This would be about a 44-yard field goal, but they've elected to punt. Grant Shaw. And again, in the conditions, perhaps that had a lot to do with his decision as Shaw tries to angle. And this will go out, marked at, well, they're saying the 6, so still a pretty good kick from Grant Shaw. They elect not to kick a field goal. Still no points on the board here. And Drew Willie brings his offense back. We come back to Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton. And is brought to you by Nissan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League. Well, while we were away, flag had come down, an interior lineman had been downfield, and so the Blue Bombers are making Grant Shaw boot this again. Angled it pretty well last time. Bombers would have scrimmaged at their 7. Let's see what happens now after that penalty. Another angle, almost the same spot, and then even better for the Edmonton Eskimos and Grant Shaw.
Just a massive leg, and he spots this one beautifully. 10 yards back, no problem. He's just getting warmed up. Speaking of warm-up, before the ball game, he was rocking at these 65, 70 yards in the air, no problem, with great directional kicking, and he was on point there.
The punters and the kickers, they've been a story in the early season. We've got 5 kickers right now, averaging over 46 yards. Usually you see maybe 1 kicker a season averaging that. So a long field for the Blue Bombers and Drew Willie. He comes chucking downfield, looking for Clarence Denmark.
Yeah, this is easy from the beginning. I can see it up here. You got the matchup you're looking for. Aaron Grimes and Clarence Denmark one-on-one. And Denmark's going to take an outside release here down the field, and Grimes is going to run with him, flip his hips, and go toe-to-toe with him. And Grimes, I think, one of the best cover mans in the league. He didn't get a good play on the football, and neither did Denmark, but taking shots early by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Now we'll see if they get backed up here as the Eskimo defense comes gunning. And Paris Cotton, we'll have to see where the mark is here. Looks like it's going to be a first down or very close to it for the Blue Bombers, as Paris Cotton is the outlet for Drew Willie. And they will move the sticks.
Willie had another deep ball available, but he chose to chunk it down. His defensive starters, and I just went in the interior of the defensive lineman here. I just said, you know what? This is what the Eskimos are known for. This is what number 1 in the league about. Just told it, go ahead and show the boys off the edge, and one of the best guys in the middle, Armando Sewell, getting the job done for the Eskimos.
You can put all 4 up there, even with Eddie Steele if you wanted, as all 4 are on the line, and Denmark on a hitch. That is watched perfectly by John Ocho.
Yeah, but, you know, Dave Moyer, he never lets us put 4 players up there. It's only 3.
You wanted to put all 7 up there.
Yeah, you know, it's like, give him some love.
Yeah.
No,
our stats.
we get our hands slapped, and we can only put 3.
Our stats legend, Dave Moyer. He is high maintenance, is he?
I give him some slack because he came from BC last night. Well, you did come from Ottawa.
Yeah, a couple of big games last night. Close finishes. Toronto and Ottawa both winning. Now 2nd and 9, and Drew Willie is going down. And Odell Willis has his first sack of 2015. And Odell Willis was almost sacked by the Eskimos after last week and his indiscretion on the sidelines.
Yeah, and he's right here. He's going to put a move on. It looks like Devin Tyler, an ex-Edmonton Eskimo, now playing for the Bombers, replacing, making the start here tonight. And boy, Odell Willis trying to get out of the doghouse, play himself out of the doghouse with head coach Chris Jones based on what happened last week. We'll get into that, but it's a good way to get out of that doghouse. Head coach has got you in. Timely sack, first of the season.
So will Lirim Hajrullahu give up 2 here? No, he will boot it out. We've seen this a few times already. And Kendall Lawrence, and no yards. You can add 15 to that because he caught it in the air. No yards call. We'll catch up with that when we come back. Kendall Lawrence, the former Missouri Tiger. 3 touchdowns already in the new season. Has been a go-to guy for the Edmonton Eskimos. Scoreless here in Alberta. Shakir Bell gave the Edmonton Eskimos and himself a Christmas gift recently. Here's Ryan Rashad.
Absolutely, Rod. Shakir Bell actually didn't have a place to play last season. He had no offers from the NFL coming out of college, so essentially forced to take a year off. Now, he put together a tape, a highlight reel that found its way into the hands of Chris Jones. Jones invited Bell to come down and work out for him on December 26th. So Bell jumped in his car and drove the 630 kilometers or so from Indianapolis down to Tennessee, performed for the head coach, put on a good show. They loved his willingness and his attitude, and tough start today for him, but so far so good as an Eskimo.
Yes, indeed. What a week last week. Thank you, Ryan. And I guess, you don't know Boxing Day sales. Why not? That says a lot about a guy and how desperate you want to play football the day after Christmas, trying to find employment.
I think that's indicative of a lot of football players seeking employment out there. They do whatever it takes. They're always honing their trade, trying to stay on top of things, looking for that opportunity. And Shakir Bell seized his chance.
Shakir Bell, a long line of running backs in the Edmonton Eskimo chain the last few years. And that one up for grabs. The Eskimos have had some lineage. You think about players, a lot of this Passover has had to do, and the handoffs have had to do with injury, not because of a lack of production.
Yeah, and through the years, starting from 2009, we go right through it. Archie Whitlock, a blast from the past. Daniel Porter, I bet you people don't even remember that name. Messam, he's having a heck of a year for Saskatchewan. And Hugh Charles lit it up. John White, who's their #1 guy coming to this season, hurt again. Then it was Chad Simpson. Now we see Shakir Bell. Edmonton's been finding ways to win with their running backs, no matter who's behind us quarterback.
And good running backs, too. A credit to their organization and Ed Hervey as Troy Studermeyer watches it bounce out. Not this time for Brad Shaw, says it's on him, but the Eskimos will put a point on the board. Points will be hard to come by today in this weather. And also, well, by the way, this defense,
there it is,
including Marcus Howard. The monster is back.
Christian, Georgia, Marcus Howard healthy again, and that spells trouble for the opposition last week, getting after quarterback Henry Burris. 2 sacks alone last week. Ties the league for league lead, and John Bowman from Montreal with 4. And just when he's healthy, he's just a beast. And the combination with their defensive interior linemen, along with Odell Willis on the other side and Willie Jefferson, and that defense is prideful of what they do out there week in, week out, playing fast, playing hard and physical. You heard Coach Jones talk about it in his pregame speech, just firing up his boys, saying it's not difficult, boys. It's not a secret. It's what we do, play hard, physical, and fast, and get after and make things happen. Marcus Howard is all about that.
Told me that last year was a write-off, needed time to heal, wants some respect. He says that people forgot about him, including the voters in the top 50.
He's talking to us, Ron.
Drew Willie over the top. Catch is made by Rory Colhart.
Strike him lightly. That was beautiful. That was just a beautiful thrown pass and timing, spotted well. No wonder he's at 77% completion percentage. This is beautiful. This 29-yard pickup. First of all, it starts with protection. A nice job by Shakir Bell. We'll talk about that. And a beautifully thrown, spotted football. Moving the chain.
Drew Willie also took a shot as he delivered the football. Rory Colhart had 6 catches coming in. They all came against Montreal. And look out now. Cameron Marshall. Big gain as the seas part. And Cameron Marshall with a 26-yard romp puts the Blue Bombers into the red zone.
That's beautiful. Dominic Picard really doesn't know what he wants to do. Watch him snap the football right here. He's kind of standing there, and then he's got to go seek somebody out because the sea opens up. It just parts right there. Go get him. That was Suk Chung, the right guard that got up to the second level, opening it up for Cameron Marshall.
Blue Bomber team that has not run the football very much, not with much success. Cameron Marshall, you know, we showed that graphic about the Edmonton Eskimos and their musical running backs. The same could be said for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers through the years and how many guys they've had in and out of the lineup.
Yeah, and oftentimes people say that running backs are a dime a dozen, and that may be true as far as a skill set that they do bring to the table, but the nuances and the importance of pass protection, pickup, and what this game provides as a challenge are completely different. So it is very difficult to find those productive backs.
Second down and 5. Marshall backfield again. Willie looks like he wants to throw a little slant pattern. And on the far side, that's going to be an interference call against Patrick Watkins. All over Darvin Adams even before he stepped up. So this most assuredly will move the football for the Blue Bombers.
Yeah, his eyes saw it. And his body reacted, but he was just too quick, and the timing wasn't there for Patrick Watkins trying to close on that pass.
You know, back to the running backs, and you've played with so many great ones. There are a lot of running backs out there. Think about all the schools down south.
Edmonton, number 9. Half the distance to goal, automatically.
And all the schools up north that produce running backs. There are a lot of them, but there are only a few elite ones.
Absolutely, and elite comes with pass protection too. And here's Patrick Watkins. He sees it right away, and he just kind of gets there a little bit early and mauls Darvin Adams before the ball gets there. Easy call for the referee.
8 yards with the penalty. First and goal. Blue Bombers have twin backs now. Michel Pomerant now moves over to the side. Marshall backfield. Cameron Marshall, head down, gets down to the 2-yard line. Blue Bombers will go second and goal now.
Yeah, you know, this is just zone blocking here, and you're going to watch the left side of the offensive line just roll and just move to the left. They're all going to come and take a man and root him out, and they're going to get leverage. And these big boys are playing physical, and they do a nice job of getting underneath the pads of the Edmonton Eskimos D-line, and that's why you see production from Cameron Marshall.
6th play of the drive, hovering near the goal line. Ryan Brom, backup, comes in. Again, high formation, Marshall, and he is stopped by J.C. Sherritt. You had an interesting conversation with Sherritt before this ball game.
Yeah, I did, and you know, he's talking about, you know, just he doesn't have the numbers. He's got 6 tackles in 3 games. You know, where's J.C. Sherritt? Here he is, jumping over people, dives over the top of Suk Chung, and then he's into the backfield. This is going to be a great look. Watch him get in the backfield. He jumps there, goes low. J.C. Sherritt shows you why a couple years ago he had 130 tackles. It's oftentimes not where you're tackling the guy. It is where you're tackling the guy. Is it on the other side of the line of scrimmage where we saw that on that play? Or is it 5, 10, 15 yards down the football field? J.C. Sherritt tends to live on the other side of the line of scrimmage.
Lirim Hajrullahu with a chip shot. The Blue Bombers opt for the points here. It would have been 3rd and goal from about the 2-yard line, so they put up the field goal. And it's 3-1 Blue Bombers with just 1:23 to go in the driving rain here. Week 5 ends tomorrow in Regina. Saskatchewan Roughriders looking for a win here. Desperate team right now against the visiting Hamilton Tiger Cats. Their last game on the road before they go home back to Tim Hortons Field next week. That's tomorrow on TSN.
I think 2 desperate football teams right there in Hamilton, Saskatchewan. Both, I think, in a very, surprising situation for both franchises, because they probably thought they could be much better out of the gate, and certainly records indicate that they're not. 1-2 and 0-4.
You know what we were thinking today, Matty, when we were driving over here? There was a poncho sale. One of the stores. No, we could have made a lot of money here. Ponchos, umbrellas.
Yeah.
I tell you, the sunscreen guy not making a lot of money today.
No, not at all.
Not making a lot of money.
All kinds of stuff going on in the city of Edmonton over the last couple of days. Music fest, food fest.
You love, this is where it all began for you, in the city.
Yeah. Hey, my wife Kathy and I, we were running the streets here. We were hitting it. We had our track shoes on and we were blowing and going. No kids, no worries, no problems. We were flying around Edmonton. Absolutely love this city.
Shakir Bell is back with Kendall Lawrence. Lawrence already a lot of touches now, dancing around. You can see injured Blue Bomber on the field is Tony Burnett. Burnett in his first CFL game.
USC, player that they like. Trying to earn his stripes, flying down on kickoff coverage. And he just kind of gets buried to the left of your screen. This is, yeah, and this is, it's not exact science out there oftentimes on cover teams, and leverage is critical. And here's a look at it right here. And he's going to come in the picture to your left-hand side, and he just goes down. He just buckles. And
a guy who's worked so hard, Matty, just to get a chance to play in the Canadian Football League from Watts, California. His family down there watching right now with, I'm sure, some concern over Tony's health as they look at that knee.
I'm going to try to locate him for you so you can see it. And as it rolls forward here, he's going to be to your left of your screen. And here he comes right here. And he just plants, and his knee just gives right out on him. No pressure, nothing. He's trying to get leverage to cut back in and make a play. And his leg just gives way on him.
Look at this, though. He's the quickest healer ever.
What?
Wow. I'll tell you what, that training staff, whatever they do, can they come up here and look after us?
Hey, that's what you like to see.
That's a miracle.
Because that looked like he blew out his knee there with a no-contact play, and then he gets up and sprints off. That's a good sign for first-year player from USC.
Even Michael Shea has a chuckle as Nichols swings it out to the veteran Calvin McCarty, Mr. Dependable.
No run out of bounds, Calvin, come on.
He doesn't get many touches. You got to make the best of it.
And he did there. That's beautiful. You know, I heard y'all calling a game last night. I think it was Glenn Suiters talking about how the screen pass is very underrated. And this is just, it's a perfect example one. This little slip screen. Little screen to your fullback at 26-yard rambling down the sidelines. It's Calvin McCarty, veteran running back that kind of does everything for the Eskimos.
The two longest tenured Eskimos right now, Calvin McCarty and the guy throwing the football, Matt Nichols. A juggling act into Demond Washington.
He didn't try to use his hands either. He tried to cradle it, and the ball was so well thrown by Matt Nichols. Even under these conditions, it went through his hands, hit him in the numbers, and almost picked off.
Wallace Miles was the intended target, playing his first game with the Eskimos, the former Ottawa Red Black and Winnipeg Blue Bomber. And Demond Washington probably kicking himself right now. He had a pick. Reprieve for the Eskimos. Second down. Nichols fires, and another overthrow. And almost every pass that Nichols has thrown so far has sailed.
Yeah, it has. And, you know, oftentimes it's just about grip. And a lot of times you can't grip it in your fingertips, and so the ball will just kind of have to rest more on the fingers in the palm of your hand. And then now you start pushing it. And you start pushing a football, and you're not used to that, the ball will sail on you. You can't pull on it like you typically would with your fingers coming down on the football. You're actually gripping it differently, and you're pushing the ball. And maybe we'll get one up here, and I can show you the booth. A little tutorial.
And now a fake on third down.
What?
And Jordan Lynch is going nowhere. Seen this team try this before. Grant Shaw back, and they snap it right back to Jordan Lynch, and so they will turn the ball over on downs as we turn it over on quarters. 3-1 game, Winnipeg. Raindrops falling, and so too are footballs right now. A lot of drops. See it, TSN, second quarter straight up. Here in Edmonton, very low scoring so far. The offense is having some problem getting unglued in the conditions. Defense is rising up. 3-1 Winnipeg after one quarter. Matt Dunnigan, let's talk about that last play by the Edmonton Eskimos as they turn the ball over on downs.
Ugly. Ugly. And this decision didn't catch or fool Winnipeg at all. And they were all over this. Jordan Lynch, first-year player from Northern Illinois, who's really bought into this package and doing whatever it takes, using his athletic ability. Edmonton's trying to do that on this play, but Winnipeg and Mike O'Shea's special teams had nothing to do with it. They said, no, sir, we got this snipped out on 3rd and 10, caught us off guard. And they were trying to catch Winnipeg off guard, but they flipped the script and the field in a hurry on the Edmonton Eskimos.
We change sides now. Winnipeg is second quarter underway. Drew Willie. High protection. Swings it out to Julian Fioli-Godino, and the battle of the locks out there. Fioli-Godino is brought down by the dreads of Aaron Grimes. There's a lot of hair on that tackle.
I don't even know how to respond to that, but that is hilarious. And you know, watch how Godino actually catches football because the rain is just coming down. He cradles it. That's a good call right there. Ball security is going to be imperative the rest of the way here. And Godino just showed everybody how to do it.
Second down and 6. The high percentage of Drew Willie as he gets bounced back and then throws it out of bounds wisely, as there was some pushback from the Edmonton Eskimos right into Drew Willie, so the Bombers will boot it away.
Yeah, Mondo Sewell, we talk about him and his ability to get up football field and leverage, and you watch him. He's right here, and watch him get up underneath the pads of Dominic Picard, and watch how explosive he is once he does that. Right underneath, and then he just pushes him right back into Drew Willie, and Willie's got to abort.
Iralahu, big kick, Coffin corner. Kendall Lawrence corner, now down the sideline, and he brings it up near the 20-yard line.
Did your voice just crack?
Oh, yeah.
I asked twice already.
Yeah, that's some weather. Weather does it. It's puberty, too.
You're a young man. You're a young man. Very emotional.
Yes.
As you should be. We talk about the rivalries, and in the Canadian Football League, this used to be one of the best. The Eskimos and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
You've played it. You've lived it. It goes back. The rivalry dates back really to the 50s and 60s with some of the great names. And these were big battles in the West. And then, of course, maybe diminished a little bit when Winnipeg went east.
Yeah, absolutely.
But when these teams tangle, usually it's good, close football. It hasn't been recently. Winnipeg hasn't won here, as the guy said in the studio at the beginning of the game. Winnipeg hasn't won since Milt Stegall had the miracle catch here back in '06.
Yeah, July 20th, 2006, and that was a crazy finish of that football game. And I remember like it was yesterday. Every CFL fan does. Milt, you know, showing off his speed, jogged about 80 yards down the field after getting in behind the coverage. That was Rick Campbell, now head coach for the Red Blacks. He was the defensive coordinator and tried to get tricky and didn't work out.
Oh, big catch downfield by Kenny Stafford. Matt Nichols lays it in beautifully. Biggest play from the Eskimos offensively so far.
Yeah, he just blows right by Johnny Adams. I don't think Johnny Adams is expecting this. He's at the top of the screen, going to go right outside, a little outside release. Johnny Adams doesn't get a hand on him because he's too far, 5 yards, can't touch him. And then it's a foot race. 37 yards for Stafford.
Couple of catches today. Nichols on the roll. And a Darius Bowman can't hang on. This is shades of last week for Bowman. His second drop, had a couple drops last week. Again, in the rain.
Yeah, these are the skeletons in his closet and what he carries around with him, you know, and he tried to look it in, but his hands just failed. He even tried to catch in the breadbasket and use his body and cradle it. And I think that's what you have to do here. He's just fighting it right now.
Well, you talked before about quarterbacks throwing the ball a little bit differently in the rain. I'm sure the same is for receivers. Almost knocked down there, and it is knocked down by Chris Randall, but almost picked off. And a late flag back at the 21-yard line.
I don't know if this is going to be taunting or if this is going to be pass interference. Yes, PI. This defensive pass interference. Just a late flag from a long ways away. And but that's what I initially saw, and I was going to say, I'd challenge this.
Winnipeg, number 8. 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Chris Randall, the strong side linebacker for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Oftentimes, everybody knows, in the CFL, your strong side linebacker is going to have to cover some of the best receivers in the game and be multifaceted. Chris Randall's up to the task typically, but he got there a little early on that play.
Stafford and Nate Kuhorn are the wide receivers. They'll keep it up the middle. And Shakir Bell, who is not having anywhere near the game he had in his debut a week ago when he had 18 carries for 144 yards, just 2 yards there from the tiny guy out of Indiana State, former Sycamore. Little guy, big package, big shoes.
Huge shoes. Where's the 13? Guy's like 5'5".
Now they have both he and Kendall Lawrence in their backfield. Lawrence, of course, will shift to slot back. And a bit of a wobbler, but it is caught on the near sideline by Nate Kuhorn.
Not even close to a first down, though. He didn't get first down, close to first down yardage. Picked up 3 yards there. I think the pass brought Kuhorn back, who had a breakout year last year, and with 52 catches for almost 500 yards. But this year, really a slow start. Only 8 catches for 84 yards, less than 100 coming into the ball game. And there he only picks up 3, not even close to the needed yardage.
Former Calgary Dino, Calgary Colt, now Grant Shaw, who has made his last 14 field goals dating back to last season, has made 8 in a row this season. There's a penalty flag here. It was 3rd down and about 4 yards. And they're saying it's against Winnipeg as they were lining up. And this will bring the offense back on the field, and a brake ramp by the Blue Bombers.
Yeah, this is
outside. Winnipeg. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Craig Dickinson, special teams coordinator for the Edmonton Eskimos, does a nice job and really catches Winnipeg off guard with a little motion before the ball is snapped, and Winnipeg saw that as the time to go, and Edmonton fooled them. Special teams and Winnipeg Blue Bombers and drew the flag and moved the chains.
So the Eskimos reset the downs. 1st and 10 from the 27, 8th play of the drive, and swallowed up by Jamal Westerman.
Yeah, going back to that play where Craig Dickinson, well-designed play to catch the Bombers off guard. Here it is. They're going to get set, and then they're going to kind of shotgun out. We just call this grape shot. You can call it whatever you want, but they get set, and then they explode out into different formation. Winnipeg jumps off sides, and they move the chain.
Hey, fooled you. Fooled you.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Absolutely.
2nd and 11. Deep drop. Nichols fires for the end zone. Looking for Wallace Miles on 2nd down, so Grant Shaw will come out again. Don't think they'll be trying that shotgun formation this time.
Yeah, and you're going to have double coverage over the top. And, I mean, Matt Nichols is staring us down, but he was double covered inside and out, high, low, call it what you want. But there was 2-on-1, and Matt Nichols should have gotten off of that and dumped it down. Just a poor decision, a preconceived, predetermined throw by Nichols, and that's got him in trouble in the red zone in the past, and he's got to be better there.
Nichols with the hold. Shaw has now made 9 in a row this season, 15 in a row dating back to last year. For the Eskimo kicker, who gives his team a 1-point lead. It could be a day where the men who boot the ball figure most prominently. We'll see how it plays out in the rain in Edmonton.
On the sidelines, and rightly so, because he kind of gets twisted. Watch this move right here. This is a speed move and athleticism by Jamal Westerman. Jumps over the intended block, and then he just kind of wrenches and drives Shakir Bell into the ground, and he comes up lame there with his right forearm or wrist. Getting a little look-see on the sidelines. Already lost one running back, best in the league yesterday due to a broken thumb, and John Cornish.
And this team lost John White, of course. Then Chad Simpson came in, and because of injury as well, Shakir Bell. Now they have Kendall Lawrence, who can play that position as well, as Troy Studemeyer gets his first touch of this ball game up near the 22-yard line. And out comes Drew Willie again. Not near the percentage that he's had so far in this early season. Highest percentage at 77%, but you see so far today just over 50.
And it's going to be like that. And the quarterback needs to understand the situation he's in, the game he's in, who he's playing, and the importance of it. And you can't force the issue. You have to let the game come to you and make smart decisions and take care of the football.
1st and 10, the Bombers now from their 23-yard line. 3-man rush. Willie rolls and throws far sideline, and Rory Colehurt. Talked about Colehurt again. second catch of the game, had 6 catches coming in, all against the Montreal Alouettes. That's a 12-yard gain. Will move the chains.
Yeah, he's running right at you. Full sprint. Nice throw on the run with the wet ball. Kohler puts his shoulder down and says, yeah, I got everything you can take, Ojo.
Former Hamilton Tiger Cat who returned to school back to the University of Saskatchewan has become a very dependable receiver. Double tight set here now for the Blue Bombers. And the shiftiness of Paris Cotton.
He had to be shifty.
Will not fool Marcel Young and a posse of Eskimos.
Yeah, they're playing on the other side of the line of scrimmage, and this is going to be considered, I believe, a stop for the Eskimos. And we could, maybe they're going to give him a half a yard, but Paris Cotton had to do everything he could to make people miss to get back to the line of scrimmage. And here's Paris Cotton. You know, he had 10 carries. 2 of those touches were on receptions last week, and I believe the key to their success relies on getting him the football at least double the amount. Only 3 touches so far today.
They throw over the top, and Nick Moore goes high and comes down with the football. Great catch.
Goes high and then gets low in a hurry because he's got Dexter McCoy, Rookie of the Year last year for the Eskimos, coming right at him. Well, this is going and getting it, climbing the ladder. Quarterback kind of hangs him out to dry here. He goes up, gets it at his highest point, then gets low. Woo-hoo,
almost low-bridged here. Look at this.
This is beautiful. Whoop. That is survival instincts right there. Nice play by a veteran receiver.
28 catches on the season, has a touchdown. Drew Willie now. He escapes and is going to have to throw it out of bounds. That flag came down. That's a holding call that happened late. Gave Willie a little more time as Willie Jefferson was trying to reel him in.
I'm not really sure where the foul occurs, but oftentimes when a quarterback redirects and tries to evade oncoming rushers, it puts an offensive lineman in a very inappropriate position where he's got claws sometimes, and then he doesn't know he's got to let go because the quarterback's going another way.
Major foul, chop block. Winnipeg number 69. It's a 15-yard penalty that's added to the end of the play. It will be second down.
So it was Suk Chung, the first-round pick, number 2 overall, with a chop block, in fact.
And this is what happens when a player's engaged and you can't come on low on him. And we'll show it to you. It's a real good look. It's got Picard. It's going to go high. Picard's going to go high, and then Suk Chung is going to go low here. As the play unfolds, you get a good look at it. That's what was called the chop block there, because the defensive lineman's in a vulnerable position, dealing with somebody, then somebody comes low on his knees. You don't want to see that.
So it's 2nd and 25, came after the play, midway through the second quarter. The rain has not subsided.
Winnipeg, number 5. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
Drew Willie wanted everybody to get going there. Crowd may have been a factor as well, but they couldn't get the play off within the 22nd play clock.
Now if the offensive coordinator, Marcel Belfay, it's 2nd and a gazillion, and Odell Willis saying, I got the clock, the quarterback should have the clock. That's time count. But 2nd and a gazillion here, what do? Oftentimes you see a screen run right here or a draw.
Handoff to Paris Cotton as Willis just missed him, and J.C. Sherritt lowers the boom on Paris Cotton.
Luckily for the Eskimos, I think they might have gotten away with that face mask. Looked like a hand went up in Paris Cotton's face. And here's a look at it right there. I saw a hand come across his face mask, and it wasn't called.
Boom by J.C. Sherritt. Wow. Well, that's one thing, even in the rain, they hit hard and almost getting to Lirim Hajrullahu.
There's Willie Jefferson.
Kendall Lawrence makes one miss, but not another. Tony Burnett, who was injured earlier, downfield very quickly. Low-scoring ball game here. Defense is rising up. The rain comes down in Edmonton. Discovery Channel brings you the twists and turns of real-life crime thrillers with a free preview throughout July and August. Check your guide to watch. Rod Black, Matt Dunnigan, Ryan Bouchard, our entire crew here. Nice and dry in the box. Ryan's not so dry on the sideline. Rain all day here since just before game time, and it's supposed to rain throughout the night in Edmonton.
Right, you know, I thought that Odell Willis might have got his hand up in Paris Cotton's face here, but it looks like he got his chest plate right there. I thought that was his face mask, but I was wrong. It was right across his 3 and the 4. And
takes a man to admit he's wrong, and you're a man.
I thought somebody else might have saw what I saw. I think I saw it.
You have no problem.
I have no problem.
You have no problem channeling your
many times.
Yeah, man,
211.
You're right a lot more than wrong.
Times on football.
Oh, Wallace Miles.
I can't believe that he's an Edmonton Eskimo, really, because he looked pretty good to me for his time here in the league, and third-year player from North Carolina A&T, and I think he's got a lot to offer.
Well, maybe just a victim of the numbers game in Ottawa, because they just decided to clean house and bring in new receivers. Mo Price, of course, Greg Ellingson, Brad Sinopoli, Ernest Jackson.
Yeah, no problem there.
Chris
Love those
Williams.
guys. This guy had 50 catches for almost 800 yards and 4 TDs for him last year.
He was the leading receiver for the Red Blacks. So now Grant Shaw puts a big leg into it. 53-yarder. Studermeyer has nowhere to go. Dion Lacey downfield, one of the best special team players in the Canadian Football League, brings him down on a huge launch from Grant Shaw. Odell Willis, as Matt Dunnigan said, was in the doghouse last week. He knew it as well after he ventured into the sidelines in Ottawa in the rain there. And Odell, if you're going to go into the sidelines, the opposing team bench, here's the thing for you. Don't go right where the referee is. And he started jawing and took a big penalty that kept an Ottawa drive alive, and then he never saw the field after that.
Yeah, I mean, the coach for the Red Blacks actually tapped the official in front of him and said, look, there he is, and drew the flag. And now he's been in the doghouse all week, and he's having to climb back out. And I love the guy. He can flat out play on the other side of the line of scrimmage. Odell Willis getting after it this evening.
He's not on the field right now. A wobbler, dangerous toss, and Nick Moore, who made a sensational catch earlier, can't hang on right there. So Odell Willis, who spent some time last week on the sideline, respected his coach and respected the decision.
I respect Coach Jones and what he did, the situation. I mean, like I said, he brought me into this league. I wouldn't know nothing about the CFL or be sitting here doing TSN if it wasn't for him. So, like I said, whatever he wants to do with me, I'm perfectly for it. He said you got to sit out a game or a half. I mean, I'm doing it because, like I say, all bad things have a consequence to it, and me being benched was one of the consequences.
Well, he was benched. Not in this sequence as well, as Cameron Marshall can't get to the first down.
I didn't see it. I mean, because in Ottawa, both teams are on the same side of the field, correct?
Yeah, it's going to be very hard to do that here.
Yeah, it is. and so you saw one of his teammates, Willie Jefferson, just about 7-8 yards away. He almost went in the same bench area because you're coming off the field, then you want to take a right and get to your bench. Well, he actually got pushed by a Red Black, and then he drew the flag.
See him being a cheerleader there. One thing about Odell Willis, anybody who's played with him knows he's a gregarious type. And Kendall Lawrence runs into a wall, maybe even his own player. And right now, special teams and defense is getting it done with 5 minutes to go before halftime.
Field position is going to be critical. Ball security, just managing the game for your quarterback. Don't try to do it yourself. Obviously, we're seeing a lot of footballs being put on the ground by receivers not being able to handle it. You got to look it in, cradle it. Whoever's going to be able to handle those conditions and do that the most consistently going to win this football game.
Mike O'Shea, after the heartbreaking, disappointing loss down south in Calgary last week, said that his team wasn't going to let that hang on them as Shakir Bell gets rocked.
Thaddeus Gibson. Boy, Thaddeus Gibson, unreal. Just absolutely knifes through. Just disregards Calvin McCarty like he's not even there. Watch this play. Zip. Get off of me over the top.
This is what physics is all about. Big person hitting very small person. Small person usually loses.
Second-year player from Ohio State, Buckeye from Euclid, Ohio, getting it done.
Nichols, far sideline. Kenny Stafford, both teams again having trouble moving the football. Talked about the Blue Bombers, though, trying to bounce back. A team last year that started the season 5-1 and then went 2-9. And One thing that Mike O'Shea liked this week is that his team weren't dropping their derrieres. They were dragging them around. They were just making sure that their heads were held high and kind of thinking about bouncing back here today.
Staying within the process, moving forward, learning from the mistakes. I mean, Thaddeus Gibson, perfect example, makes a play there. He's stepping in for Greg Peach, who was put on the 6th game this week. And so, next man in mentality, moving on, learning from the mistakes.
Studermeyer, special teams are like vultures here today. Hardly any yards gained on any punt return attempt. Drew Willie with 3.5 to go before halftime will try to mount some offense here. Winnipeg team that suffered offensively the last couple of years.
Took a time count violation last series. Time count violation last week really hurt that football team on the road in Calgary. That was an ugly situation for a young quarterback learning the game.
Not a lot of offense, as you might suspect. Showers continue here in Edmonton.
Edmonton kind of feeling out that situation, bringing a lot of pressure, a lot of people up to the line of scrimmage, not many people deep, and they just put about 9 players in the line of scrimmage, and we're anticipating a run by the Bombers. Got it, stuffed it.
So the 3-minute warning, Kim Murphy is issuing it to Drew Willie and the benches. 1-point ball game in a 7-point game so far.
Live at the half. It's been a sloppy game. We'll try to polish it up here as the guys talk about all the fumbles, the drop passes. We've also got the GMC coach's playbook. That and more coming up at halftime in about 3 minutes. Rod?
All right, thank you, Farhan. And the guys standing by, it has been sloppy. It's been an ugly one here. Weather-wise, as you said, Matty Dunnigan, it's 4-3 in the bottom of the second.
You know, we've seen a lot of memorable games in the CFL, and some of the most historic games have been played in nasty conditions. Here in Commonwealth, late July, this is not one of those memorable games at this point.
Drew Willie chased down. Here comes Marcus Howard. And Drew Willie drops it off into his bench wisely as Marcus Howard had him in his crosshairs. Knocked out of bounds eventually on 2nd down, and again the Eskimos will get the football back with 2:42 to go before halftime.
It looked like Kim Murphy was giving J.C. Sherr a stern warning and a possible late hit to Drew Willie there on the sidelines, and J.C. trying to pull up. Did a pretty nice job of it, not drawing a penalty on that play. That would have been a big mistake.
Hairolahu. High kick, spiraling now for Kendall Lawrence. He dropped the football. Penalty flag, though. It looks like they're going to call no yards on this. As Lawrence was just able to hang on. You have got to keep your eyes and your hands and everything else on this football today because, as you mentioned,
Winnipeg, number 21, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Defenses are going to dominate. Even the kickers are going to dominate, but also you do not want to make a mistake. It could be so easy to have a hiccup here.
Absolutely. Returning game, you know, even snaps, you know, the long snaps, fielding the football, securing the football, trying to make a play, squeeze one in there as a quarterback. No, all those things go out the window. You play things close to your best, let the other team make a mistake and capitalize.
Shakir Bell, who was nicked up earlier, still in the ball game, and gets the ball out of the backfield. Now one-on-one, a little shake there on Burnett, and a first down for Shakir Bell, and that's his most positive play of this game so far. Johnny Adams knocked him out. That's the Shakir Bell we saw last week in Ottawa.
Yeah, and fell in love with. You know, it's like, whoa, where'd this guy come from? Indiana State, high percentage throw. This is what he does best. Get those quick feet, those big feet moving. Well, so elusive, open space. This is what I love. To a man, they love this. Shakir Bell standing behind the offensive line so he can be in their conversation. You don't see that very often in professional football.
Well, I think maybe you just get used to it as a running back. You're always standing behind them.
Good
Look at him go with the convoy, and that's why you stand behind your line, because they do that stuff for you.
Absolutely. But the thing is, he's in meetings with them. He's in blitz pickup meetings. This is Shakir Bell following the big boys. Hey, that is just incredible balance there, because you got Nate Collins, 6'2", 298, hitting you flush, and it doesn't even phase you. You bounce off it. There were comparisons made to, I dare say it, Pinball Clemens last week, but that is reminiscent of what Pinball did on a regular basis.
There's the pitch out to Kendall Lawrence as he is spotted and spied by Jamal Westerman. The only difference between Pinball and Shakir Bell, I'm pretty sure Pinball did not have size 13 clodhoppers. No, but talking to Shakir before the ball game, I actually figured it out. Actually, Kendall Lawrence spilled the beans on it. It's not so much the length of his foot, it's the width of his foot. He's got like big Fred Flintstone type of feet, so he needs a wide shoe, and it gets longer, so he wears the size 13. So his big fat foot can get in there. He's only 5'8", and I'll tell you what, that's generous. If he's 5'8", you might be 6'6".
Thank you, thank you. And there's nothing wrong with that, but he plays big, and I love players like that. You know, look, there it is. Now, that's tough to get a feel for how big that shoe is there. He was wearing those yesterday, and they look like clodhoppers. Seriously, they look like he stole them from the offensive lineman.
But do you think because of those big feet that he has, that gives him that extra balance, that gives him a...
Well, they're not long, they're wide,
yeah.
So think wide, so think duck. Okay.
On a day like today, that's good to think.
Yeah. And so he's probably got a pretty good base every time he plants his foot.
Oh, Grant Shaw just got that away as he dropped the ball. Lucky to get it away. We're going to get no yards here. Shaw comes downfield, and Studermeyer trying to make something positive here out of that. And the Edmonton Eskimos were lucky to get that away with 1:26 to go before halftime. Good on Grant Shaw, but he says bad on me because he dropped it.
Yeah, I mean, this is a nice snap. He fields it cleanly the first time. Then he's trying to spin it in his hand to get the laces to where he needs it. And the ball actually drops out of his hand. And he was fortunate, like you said, Rod, to actually get this ball off because the pursuit was coming.
Illegally downfield on a kick. Edmonton, number 25. 10 yards to be added on at the end of the play. First down.
Yeah, you can understand that because the ball was dropped, and we're going to get a look at it here, right ahead, head on. As catches it clean, he's going to spin it, puts it on the ground. People are leaving. There's the penalty. And there's the magician getting the ball off in the only spot he could because people are laying out for it right there. Looked like Cameron Marshall was about to block it, couldn't get a piece of it.
Well, the Blue Bombers try to march the field here, get it in at least field goal range. This is a team that's 2-0 when they lead at halftime, 0-2 when they trail. Willie has time, decides to go himself. He's able to juke out J.C. Sherritt and very close to a first down. You can see the traction or lack thereof on this turf.
Yeah, Drew Willie is looking all over the football field. Watch, he looks here, he looks over here, he looks back, and then he's got to pull it down and he tries to make something happen. And he puts a nice move on J.C. Sherritt, 47, right in the middle of your screen. Pull it down, make a move. That's pretty nice. He actually gets another 5 yards on top.
Odell Willis making the tackle. Second down, short yardage now, 2nd and 2. As this Blue Bomber team tries to get a lead before halftime. They'll hand it off to Paris Cotton, and that was rather predictable, and the Eskimos read it perfectly.
Didn't they ever? Just brought the house.
Eddie Steele in that scrum, helping bring down Paris Cotton.
Yeah, they're all coming. They're not fooling the Eskimos. They're bringing people everywhere from all different directions. Look, they got them stacked up here, just bringing them in gaps, filling gaps. Oh, that's beautiful. He's playing on the other side of the line of scrimmage. That's a stop. Dexter McCoy, Rookie of the Year, credit him with the stop. Play behind the line of scrimmage.
These teams have exchanged hunts 7 times in this low scoring, virtually no scoring first half. In inclement weather. And you can see it is so hard to get your footing. But Kendall Lawrence did some dodging and weaving and finally brings it down near the 20-yard line. 30 seconds to play before halftime.
Yeah, he ran a long way for a little yardage. There's a lot of effort. And at this point, you just think, go down, leave some time on the clock for your offense. He's trying to make something happen Oftentimes, that's when you can get yourself in danger. Put the football on the ground, spinning, juking, and jiving like that.
Matt Nichols, 11-19, out of the backfield, and it dropped there near the 22-yard line is Wallace Miles.
Roughing the passer. Winnipeg, number 95, low hit.
Call.
15 yards from the end of the play, automatic first down.
Let's give him the ball probably about the, I'd say, 40-yard line. And, you know, a couple of pass completions, you got a chance for more points.
Sam Hurl made the tackle on this play, but let's see where Nichols got roughed up and kind of pushed into him.
Jake Thomas.
This big Jake Thomas, former Acadia Axeman.
I mean, he's hustling. I think he's pushed into him. That's a tough call. One the officials saw go against Winnipeg.
Miles again, and if they use the clock properly here, they might get it into field goal range as Chris Randall's in on the play.
Get him on the line of scrimmage, call the play, snap it as the officials whistling it in. Come on, let's go, Matt.
16
they
seconds.
Should be set already.
You might be able to get it down near the 40-yard line here. You might have 2 cracks to get it there.
That was 1.
Got to get it off here quick.
3. That's not bad.
Nichols in the pocket, in trouble, and he's going down. Jamal Westerman with the sack. And with 6 seconds to go, you either can take a shot at the end zone or take a knee here. In an absolutely rain-filled, sloppy first half in Edmonton.
Yeah, Jamal Westerman, I believe, is coming right here, 2-point stance. It's pretty simple. Play looked like it never had a good beginning. It's just kind of slow plays him and just kind of keeps him in his grasp and his sights, and he steps up and he folds in and makes the play.
They'll take the knee, zeros on the clock, and this first half mercifully comes to a conclusion. One thing, Matt, please stop raining.
Yes.
Just stop raining.
For once.
We want some football. Send it back to Farhan and the guys.
Well, the Eskimos played in these conditions a week ago in Ottawa. We thought that might have given them some sort of an advantage, but no, plenty of drops and slipping and sliding and just a real mess over there at Commonwealth Stadium. Along with the guys here on the panel, we've got Jock Limey, Milt Stiegel, and Chris Schultz. And guys, how do you adjust to conditions like this, Schultz?
Well, you know, when you talk about a personality of a game, this is what you call a grinding game. And the speech from the coaches in the halftime is, guys, we're going to have to gut this one out. Because really the only success for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in terms of sequence of plays has been Cameron Marshall. These A to B plays that he's had some success with in hitting the seams and gaining some yards. You should get back to this type of football because it's not going to stop raining. Now, on the other side, Shakir Bell, this is his best run of the entire game, and really Winnipeg has done a much better job in terms of stopping Shakir Bell than on the opposite side. But this game is going to be about grinding it out. It's not going to be fancy. It's going to be a little bit physical, a little bit brutal, and it has to be the offensive lines, defensive lines to win this one outright.
And watching this game, Schultz, it just brings bad memories to me. And I say that because rain for a receiver is the worst weather to play in. You ask any receiver, and they would tell you they'd rather play in freezing cold weather than to play in rain because you just can't use your hands in the rain. You have to adjust the way you catch the ball. If you see these guys right here, they're trying to catch the ball with their hands, which is impossible. Darius Bowman trying to color it with his shoulder pads. It's not going to happen. You right here, got another catch with your hands. It's not going to happen. You have to catch it with your soft part of your body, which is your stomach. Kenny Stafford does a great job right there. Now, Jock was really good at this because his stomach was so soft when he played, so he was very good. But that's the only way you can catch the ball. There's no catching it with your hands. Right there in the stomach.
Body. You know about that, Jock, don't you?
I agree that now my stomach is soft. Back then it was ripped, Milt, but I couldn't agree with you more. There was a whole other technique to catching the ball in the rain. But, you know, rain's a factor. But so is psychology going into a football game. And, guys, I was a little bit surprised that Chris Jones came out and said this about his new star rookie running back. And he says here that he's a very determined runner. The only thing you worry about with a runner like him is, will he protect the football? For the most part, he did a good job with that, exception of one play. So he says it's about his running back. And what's his running back do on the very first carry of the game? You tell me this is not in his head? His head coach is wondering whether he can protect the football. And so what's he do? He coughs it up. That's psychology 101.
Yeah, that is really weird.
I think as a coach, you can't do that. You are going to psych your own players out by taking that kind of approach. And to top it all off, they waited until 4 minutes into the second quarter before they hand him the ball again. You can't do that with a young guy. They should have gone right back to him and handed him the ball and let him get his confidence. You saw that run that you had him doing. That's what he can do for you. Give it back to him. Let him get in a roll. Don't get that out of his head, all that negative energy.
I agree with you because you're trying to, especially a young player, that's his first year. You're trying to build his confidence up, not identify a weakness. That was a weird quote.
I'm guessing the coach.
I didn't have a problem with it, actually, John.
Are you serious?
No, I don't have a problem.
Because you never have a problem with coaches calling their players out.
Professional athletes, you got to be able to handle it.
I wonder how many holding calls Chris Schultz is going to get in his first ever
start. Exactly. Then it's in my head.
No one ever
handle it. Go get another occupation.
Nobody ever called out Milt, I can tell you that. You know, when Edmonton played in the rain last week, they were 35 points scored. They're 28 points away from that. Doesn't seem likely that these teams are going to get there.
Now 2nd and 9, and Drew Willie is going down. Look out now. Cameron Marshall. Big gain as the seas part. And now a fake, and Jordan Lynch is going nowhere. Then Nick Moore goes high and comes down with a football. Great catch. Shakir Bell gets rocked.
Week 5 wraps up tomorrow right here on TSN. Two teams with high expectations but not many wins. The 1-2 Ticats against the 0-4 Riders go at it at Mosaic, and you know the fans in Saskatchewan will be awfully fired up not wanting to see their team drop to 0-5 as we return with the GMC Coaches Playbook and Paul Lapolis. And Lapo, one of the byproducts of the new rules that don't allow defensive backs to make contact after 5 yards is teams are playing more zone defense. They want to drop more guys back into coverage because they know it's that much harder to defend, so teams rush fewer players. But the Eskimos aren't as predictable. They do it a number of different ways, don't they?
Yeah, they do it a number of different ways. And what I want to talk about is numbers. And people are saying, numbers? What are you talking about? There's no point score. There's no numbers. But there's a lot of numbers of rushers. That's what you look at for when you're a coach. You're breaking things down. How are the rushers coming? This is a 7-man rush. You'll see 7 guys coming. You got the 7 interior guys. The 5 interior guys will be taken by the offensive line. You got 2 outside guys. Tailback will take the one over there. Fullback will take the one over there. That is 7 rushers. But you're going to see coming into this camera an 8th rusher to the quarterback. I like that Drew got front side room, gave him space enough to complete the ball downfield early in the game. Now, 2nd and 5, short yardage situation. What are they going to do? Come up 6 on 6. 6 rushers, 6 blockers. Why do defensive teams do this? They do this so you single everybody up. You can't double a good defensive rusher. You hope one of your guys wins. And here's a scenario where they win. You got the ends coming to the outside. This is a 3-man rush. Armando Sewell does a great job of taking the center for a ride, dropping him back into the quarterback. Didn't result in a sack, but it pressured him. You know, there's 80 yards passing for the Bombers and only 50 yards rushing, so they're doing a good job defensively, Edmonton Eskimos.
Yeah, and they've been doing that throughout the last couple of weeks. In the last 2.5 games, they've given up just 1 touchdown drive. That's a total of 39 possessions. Both teams getting set at halftime. You know, they always talk about strategies, Coach, at half. But here I think they're just talking about getting dry. Winnipeg looking for their first come-from-behind victory of the season. The Eskimos trying to move into a share for first place in the West. Tim Hortons is making sure you catch all of the biggest moments of the season, the unbelievable catches and the hard-hitting tackles. Watch them live as they happen or view them again and share with friends. Go to tsn.ca/CFL must-see. Schultze, what do you got for halftime stats?
Well, first and foremost, no turnovers for the Bombers in bad weather conditions. Big-time positive for both these teams. 6 punts and 5 punts. Sustaining drives in time of possession means everything. Time of possession means everything in the second half.
All right, let's get to a wet sideline. Here's Ryan Rashog with Eskimos quarterback Matt Nichols.
Matt, 2nd week in a row you've had to play in some tough weather. What's the most difficult part about playing in this rain?
Oh, you know, it's just the simple things like throwing and catching the ball. Flooded out of my hands a couple times, but I think for the most part I'm putting it where I want. And the main thing is just trying to finish some of these drives. We were right on the edge of field goal range a couple times and had to punt, but look forward to coming out in the second half and hopefully we can go down and put up more points.
How about the traction? I know that when FIFA came, they had to put in a different field for the soccer. Is it a little different traction-wise?
You know, for me, it's not too bad. You have to ask some of these other guys probably that are doing more full speed running around. But, to me, the footing's not a big issue. It's just continuing to put together drives and make sure we finish drives with points.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan. You know that Matt Nichols, it doesn't always look pretty, but he is the only unbeaten quarterback in the CFL at this point among starters. The Eskimos, meanwhile, have won 7 straight against Winnipeg at home. Will it continue?
It is a 1-point ball game heading to the second half in Edmonton, but Mother Nature is the big winner so far. Will it clear? That is the question. And will these teams be able to put some points on the board? Here's Zach Anderson of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers with Ryan Rishaug.
Well, Zach, in a game where you'd think they'd be running the ball a little more, they're tentative to do so. You held them to just 10 yards on the ground. What'd you do well in that regard?
You know, the rain's helping us up a lot. You know, it's pretty slippery out there. You know, I see Bell slipping out there too. But, you know, we're playing gap sound defense and able to stop the run.
What did you guys talk about at halftime? You want to adjust? I imagine maybe penalties were mentioned?
Yeah, just keep doing what we're doing. Keep it coming. You know, it's a tight game right now, 4-3 right now. It's going to be a dogfight. The rest of this game, it's raining, it's muddy, it's gritty, but we're ready to go.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Well, that's a clip worth saving. Rewind that late in the ball game, see if it does play out that way. The dogfight continues. It's actually a cat and dog fight because it's raining cats and dogs here as Mike O'Shea gets ready for the second half.
You got to think that this is O'Shea's kind of weather. You know, he just doesn't care.
No,
you know, nasty middle linebacker, just roaming the sidelines.
Chris Jones doesn't care either.
Absolutely, just play hard, fast, physical.
The guys who are known for their defense as Grant Shaw boots this to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers to get the third quarter underway. Studermeyer, and he runs right into the back of one of his blockers, but he brings it up near the 36-yard line, a 22-yard return in a good starting position for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and Drew Willie, who had the best chance to score a touchdown in the first half. Got near the goal line, but then had to settle for a chippy field goal.
And then really hasn't done anything offensively since then. And we're talking about it, you and I, Rod. And, you know, oftentimes it just may not be the players on the field. It may be the way the game's being called by the offensive coordinators, not putting his team in a situation where they're high risk, high reward type of plays.
They keep running into the teeth of that front seven as Paris Cotton goes there. Don't you have a feeling too that some sort of defensive play, some sort of defensive turnover could turn this game?
Absolutely. It's going to be something like that. Marcel Belfay on the sidelines in the elements himself, so that may even lend itself even more to him calling a more conservative type of style game.
How did you react to games like this? You played in all types of weather conditions.
I didn't care. I'd keep throwing interceptions until I got one to stick. Yeah, I just keep pushing it down the field.
2nd and 7 for Willie and the Bombers from the 39-yard line. Tucks it and takes it and has a first down. And a good thing he ducked at the end.
Yeah.
That would have been ugly.
That was getting scary in a hurry because Otha Foster, first-year player from West Alabama, was not going to hold back. It's a beautifully timed draw play, called play. Everybody comes up the field. You got offensive linemen tracking linebackers. Picks up 12 on the play. Nice call by Marcel Belfay.
Drew Willie, the former star at the University of Buffalo. 28-year-old out of Randolph, New Jersey, former rider. And looking for Julian Fioli-Godino.
Yeah, and Momondo Sewell was in hot pursuit. Even though they're trying to move the launching point on Drew Willie, he crosses the face, I believe, of Dominic Picard and is on Willie's tail and actually brings him to the ground after he releases that football. Great hustle by Armando.
I'm not sure I've ever believed a weather forecaster, but I hear that it could clear. What do you think?
Really? Hey, we're hoping and praying, right?
Are you building an ark?
Maybe just put some points on the board. Points are up in the CFL, by the way.
Today's going to bring them down, I'm afraid. 2nd and 10. Willie throws a big hit by Dexter McCoyle. Broke that up. Paris Cotton would not have been close to the first down marker anyway, as Dexter McCoyle, last year's Rookie of the Year.
Western and CFL All-Star as well. Just absolutely ripped up the league last year with, 4 sacks, 6 interceptions from his will linebacker position. Showing they can play the underneath passes as well.
Hairolahu, what a boot this is. Perfect kick. Looks like it's inside the 10-yard line. Lirim Hajrullahu gives the Edmonton Eskimos a long field on a 51-yard towering kick in this 1-point ball game. Special night tonight on TSN2. The 2015 Special Olympics World Games from Los Angeles begins. The opening ceremony. Catch the largest sports and humanitarian event of 2015. 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific on TSN2. Let me win, but if I cannot win, let me be brave in the attempt. The mantra of the Special Olympians, and good luck to Team Canada and all the Special Olympians in Los Angeles. Matt Nichols off his back foot. Good toss. Sideline now. And Wallace Miles, the new Eskimo, has his biggest play since putting on the green and gold.
Well, it doesn't look like much, but that is a nicely spotted football with a lot of velocity and zip behind it. Big first down and moving them out of their own back end. You're going to watch Sam Hurl tracking here, and he's going to be on his horse, and the ball spotted out to Miles, and he moves the chains and gets him out of hole.
Nichols again. Far sideline. Kenny Stafford hauls it in, rolls over.
Yeah, I was watching Nichols run on the football field, and we see he's wearing his hand warmer, his pouch behind his back. You see it right there? I'm wondering if there's some type of rosin or something back there, because every time he runs on the football field, he's got his hand back in there feeling around for something. And then the other side of the line of scrimmage, you've got Drew Willie. And we all know that he's got a pouch in front, plus he wears gloves. So I think an advantage Willie in these conditions, but Nichols is slinging it right now.
Well, very interesting. You never anticipate. All day long it was clear here, and then the clouds came in. You don't anticipate a game like this. I can tell you right now, with these two teams, the way they came into this game, if it was a clear skies, we're not sitting at 4-3. That's for sure a completely different ball game. But you have to adapt, do you not?
Rod, it depends on who you ask that question to. If you ask that question to, say, Chris Jones or Mike O'Shea, they may have predicted a 4-3 game because they have so much faith in their offense. But I like to think that there would have been more points on the board. We see a lot of that. I'm surprised we hadn't seen more of that.
Jamal Westerman getting to Matt Nichols again. Play action that Westerman did not bite on one bit.
You know, Westerman, what a great pickup right before the season started for the Bombers. He's played 6 years in the National Football League. He's a national. And it's great for their ratio because he's a legitimate defensive end starter for them on that side of the football. Made a couple of nice plays today already.
The Westerman brothers joked with him about what it was like at Christmas time and holidays when Jabbar and Jawan, all CFLers and football players, have been drafted for a while. Wallace Miles is sprung and then hit hard. Has his 5th reception in his first game as an Eskimo.
Chris Randall's in hot pursuit. Miles is going to run a drag coming across the line of scrimmage. Randall bumps him, and he's in trail, and then he goes low on Miles, and Miles says, no, not today. Moves the chain.
But short of the first down. 3rd and 6. So Shaw again. Kickers have been busy, as you might expect. Studermeyer. And is chopped down at the 30-yard line. J.C. Sherritt ends up on top of him. 4.5 gone. 3rd quarter. Rain not subsiding. Drew Willie trying to get his offense going. Down 1, 4-3. Saturday Night Football from Edmonton. Team faces Samoa in the Pacific Nations Cup live from BMO Field in Toronto on Wednesday. Action gets underway at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific on TSN 5. Tonight's game brought to you by the Weather Network. It's still coming down.
That'd be a good sponsor for the CFL.
Well, the Edmonton Eskimos must think that.
Pressure. Ryan Hines out of the middle.
They bring the house. Willie lets it go quickly. He saw that coming, and Clarence Denmark, the beneficiary, close to a first down.
Yeah, and you can see Ryan Hines, free safety, is in a position where coming down, and you can see him just kind of coming. I believe. No, excuse me. Give me a second. He's right in here already, picking it up late. He's out of the middle. Nobody in the middle. It's man-to-man coverage.
They called it incomplete. Looked like he had caught the ball, so they'll get a redo here at 2nd and 10. 16-yard line. Now Willie hanging in. and slings it, and that looked like it hopped in front of Clarence Denmark as well. Very tough to complete a pass right now for both sides. Not only the weather, but also the pressure.
And this is a deep in route, takes a lot of time, and high low there. Hines is low, and you got Otha, the linebacker, strong side linebacker, deep. Half field coverage, plays it underneath them, and Willie, who's not playing with his gloves right now, he's playing glove free, couldn't get that ball out there.
Hiralahu. Back to Kendall Lawrence. Trying to find a seam, a 47-yard kick, and a pickup of about maybe 3 or 4 on the return. Matt Nichols returns. 9.5 to go. Coming off 2 straight wins over the Ottawa Redblacks, trying to get another here. Battle for first in the West continues in the Canadian sacks in this ball game. Our sack tally brought to you by Purolator. Tackling hunger, a promise we can all help deliver.
You know, a couple of sacks, but there's been a lot of plays behind the line of scrimmage, and both defenses obviously dominating in conditions like this, dictating the flow of the game.
And the smile says it all. As much as we talk about points and getting them on the board, and you being a Hall of Fame quarterback, defenses are loving this right now.
Absolutely, yeah.
This is their kind of
points.
Yeah, this is their kind of game. And there goes Shakir Bell. Bell, hand out, brought down.
Sideline to sideline.
Thaddeus Gibson.
That's impressive.
Gets him again, but Shakir Bell runs about 35 yards, and it looks like Bell might be hurt on that sideline. Just 2 yards on that scoot.
6'2", 240, sideline to sideline. And he came with some bad intentions and really unloaded on number 33, Shakir Bell.
Shakir Bell, who had 144 in his debut in Ottawa last week in the rain. Shredded the Red Blacks last week. Not so much with the Blue Bombers today, and he's taken some punishment.
Yeah, here he comes, number 9. Oops.
More punishment inflicted on Matt Nichols. Helped up by Andrew Jones. Nate Collins brings him down. Another 2 and out. Seen a lot of them. A lot of punts in this ball game. We have not had a point since the second quarter.
That's sad to say. That's the truth, and that's the conditions. But it looks like the rain's really subsided here, almost stopped completely. So maybe we'll pick up here offensively.
Yeah, the rain has stopped. 4 minutes into the second quarter was the last point we have, and we only have 7 on the board. Shaw angling. This could be another good kick, and it is inside the 15-yard line. So this battle for field position resumes as well.
And, you know, Liram and Grant, Hiralahu and Shaw, both punters for these teams, have been doing a phenomenal job. Other than, you know, we saw Grant bobble a snap and put it on the ground and barely get it out. But these guys have been pounding it, playing field position and spotting the ball beautifully, which we've seen a lot from our punters, and that's based on the rule changes we've seen this year and a different type of punting style now. Got the big leg kickers just bombing it, but tremendous directional kicking tonight as well.
Directional kicking. Hang time is paramount as well. Willie now with protection. Now he has to step up, and he's buried. And again, Drew Willie goes down.
Oh, he looked like he got high-low.
Eddie Steele, Marcus Howard.
Oh, that's Marcus Howard pressing the inside shoulder of Devin Tyler.
And Drew Willie is down.
Yeah, it looks like he got high-lowed, and that looked ugly. You might have heard me scream because I felt this pain up here because I saw him get high-low, and that pocket collapsed. One went high and one went low, and T's knees don't have a tendency to move very well from side to side. That's what it looked like to me.
Drew Willie is not moved very much since he was hit, and they're looking at that knee right now. This could be bad news for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers as Willie is tended to after getting tag teamed by the Eskimos, and will come back to Edmonton. Been knocked out of lineups. Drew Willie is getting up but needing some help.
Yeah, you're going to see Howard come over the top, and then you're going to have Eddie Steele come in from this side low, and Willie gets caught in the wash.
Watches knee here.
Steps up, there goes low, steals low. Howard's coming over the top, and the knee doesn't fold that way. High-low right there.
Right there. Left knee, it looks like. It's twisted up. It looked like even both knees may have been twisted.
He's walking off fairly decently over there, so that's a good sign. For the meantime, we're going to see Brian Brohm.
Brian Brohm, the former Louisville Cardinal, and you're right, Drew Willie looks like he's not limping.
It's a good sign.
Discernibly, so we'll see.
All CFL fans are tired of watching quarterbacks get knocked out of football games.
And hope that he can make it back for the Blue Bombers and they're faithful. So Brian Brohm comes in. Brohm has been phenomenally a short yardage quarterback. Now he's going to be the guy at the helm on this drive. Over the top and underthrows the intended target. Clarence Denmark downfield.
That's tough. Second and long coming out of the gate against the Edmonton defense, backed up in your own end. Conditions not ideal, and trying to spot one in there, just couldn't find his target.
5th 2 and out for the Blue Bombers. Let's see if Brian Brohm will be going the distance now. Midway through this third quarter, Lirim Hajrullahu is in his end zone. He's been booting it out. They have not resorted to giving up 2 points. As Kendall Lawrence has some room now. Lawrence to the 45, the 40, with blocking help now. Down near the 20. Kendall Lawrence down inside the 10. And is finally knocked out of bounds by Sam Hurl. And a huge play for the Edmonton Eskimos. A 50-yard return for Kendall Lawrence.
Kendall Lawrence going to get some help from his friends, too. Obviously, when you're out there on return teams, you need some help from your blockers, and waiting for this opportunity. Kendall Lawrence has been working hard. In a hurry to get nowhere so far, but this time he finds the corner and the edge and outruns most everybody. Hajrullahu does what he's supposed to, turn him back inside, and Sam Hurl spoils a touchdown return, but the Eskimos are knocking on the door.
Knocking on the door, and that time Hajrullahu, instead of giving up 2, punts it back, and now Jordan Lynch can score. He will. Touchdown, Edmonton. Jordan Lynch's second touchdown score. And we finally have someone in the end zone here as the rain has stopped and the Eskimos find pay dirt.
Yeah, and you can see big D'Anthony Batiste come out. Everybody's reaching here, and the quarterback that is bought into this system, direct snap, Jordan Lynch, simply getting it done, cutting back. First-year player from Northern Illinois, has a nose for the end zone. Certainly athletic quarterback, but credit to Anthony Batiste getting in there and paving the way. Big body just kind of getting in the way, pushing people out of the way, and that's an easy walk in for the quarterback. Nice cut, plants his right foot in the ground, cuts back against the grain. First touchdown of the ball game.
Touchdown, but the big assist goes to Kendall Lawrence. Took that back 50 yards. And so Grant Shaw, who has been dynamite on a field goal streak of 15 in a row, but he is only 4 of 7 on point afters. Of course, moved back to the 32 this season, and this one is up and through. So successful point after for Grant Shaw, and a big turnaround here for the Edmonton Eskimos in this third quarter, thanks to Kendall Lawrence.
Yeah, we thought special teams, certainly defense has played its part in this football game, shutting offenses down, teams taking over, putting the Eskimos on the door, and then Jordan Lynch follows the big boys. An easy walk-in touchdown for an athletic quarterback who's bought into the system. They love what he does there. See Batiste coming around. Shakir Bell getting in on the act. Feels good after a long drought of no scores in the end zone.
Yeah, having Shakir Bell, who got rocked on that last drive, back in the lineup. So Jordan Lynch out of Northern Illinois is first year in the Canadian Football League, a Heisman finalist back in 2013. That was the year Jameis Winston won the Heisman. It's the kind of year Lynch had. but a guy who can really run the football. So the Blue Bombers now have to answer. Loads of time left, and maybe we'll see some offense now because the rain has stopped, and Studermeyer brings it close to the 40.
It'll be Brian Braum who's going to have to provide that offensive production for the Bombers, because Drew Willie is on the sidelines getting ice in that knee. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to return. That's usually a sign of a guy's day is done.
And it's the right knee that got twisted up. At first, it looked like that left knee had been hit on the side. And yeah, Drew Willie's a spectator now.
Those 7 to 17 for 81 yards is indicative of the conditions, not the athlete.
We'll try to get an update from the sideline with Ryan Rashad. Harris Cotton as they keep it on the ground and fights and slashes for almost 8 yards.
I think we got to see a lot of Paris Cotton here, and that revamped offensive line for the Bombers can't get that running game going against a tough defensive front of the Edmonton Eskimos, because they're going to have to help out Brian Braum, who doesn't have a lot of reps under his belt.
Just 17 rush yards in the game for the Blue Bombers. Braum in the shotgun on 2nd and 2. Looks like he's going to throw the football. They load it up. Here come the Eskimos. Braum on a slant has Darvin Adams. Adams last week had a huge touchdown. His first catch of the day against the Stampeders, a 79-yard score.
Yeah, pressure's going to come, and he's just going to spot the football where they're not. They're coming from an area. You see the man trying to get in his face. Darvin Adams sits in the hole that the defender just vacated and moved the chains.
Former Toronto Argonaut is the go-to guy in Auburn, as Matty said earlier when Cam Newton was there. Braum has time. Now strong arm into traffic. Aaron Grimes with the pickoff, and he's got loads of room. He's got some help here.
Odell Willis whipped on a big offensive lineman, and he just crushed Aaron Grimes.
Devin Tyler brings down Aaron Grimes, but Aaron Grimes has his first pick of 2015.
Yeah, double coverage here. No business throwing this football. And you're going to watch Grimes as he's going to play it back here. He's going to just be back, and he's not going to get beat deep in position over the top with underneath help. And you can see quarterback looking into double coverage. Easy pick for Grimes. And as Grimes is returning this, Odell's got an opportunity to block Devin Tyler and says, no, you take him. Nobody's going to take him. And he says, thank you very much. Puts a lick on Aaron Grimes.
First takeaway for the Eskimos. First turnover for the Blue Bombers. Inopportune time here. Under 5 to go, 3rd quarter. Also down, veteran center Dominic Picard, part of that revamped front line for the Blue Bombers. They can ill afford to lose Picard.
Yeah, we could see next series Thias Goosen. They call him Goose, 2nd-year player from Simon Fraser, backup long snapper. Kind of being worked into the system, but Dominic looks like he's just taking a breather. Tell you, I can't say enough about Dominic Picard, what he's meant to the Bombers. Everybody in that football club says that this guy's just been phenomenal, both in the locker room and on the football field, bringing that offensive line together this year.
Guy who played with the Argos, was with the Bombers before as well, and of course a Grey Cup champion in Saskatchewan in 2013. Former star in Laval.
That there was defensive pass interference on the play. We review the play.
Well, the Blue Bombers are throwing a challenge flag. They're 1 for 2 so far this season.
Challenge of quarterback decision making. May get lucky on this play. Take a look at it. Certainly double coverage. Grimes over the top. You're impeding the defender there. The defender does get underneath Darvin Adams. Inside out right here.
Well,
definitely looks like he impedes him a bit from trying to get to the football. That's Couchy Mwamba underneath, as he does stop Darvin Adams from his flow to the football.
And he might have got there.
Yeah.
So this is going to the command center.
And this could be a huge break for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and an exceptional call and challenge by Mike O'Shea if the call goes in their favor, because you can see where he did impede. Yeah, it's Devin Tyler.
He almost swallowed him.
Yeah, he did. They catch him Mwamba underneath the coverage there. He kind of impedes Darvin Adams, and then Grimes has got a free, clear path to the football. Again, another look at it.
Pass interference on the play. The ruling on the field stands. First down.
So
Edmonton.
they are saying the play stands, will not be overturned. So the interception stays with the Edmonton Eskimos.
I'm speechless. I thought that was a pretty good challenge by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. That's why we're up here.
So the Eskimos now. Matt Nichols gives way to James Franklin, who's in the ball game, and maybe just for this play, but Franklin is at quarterback right now. Franklin, who is also a former Missouri Tiger. Some great things in the NCAA.
Preseason too, up in Fort Mac doing that game, he looked like he belonged. Boy, he just was comfortable, stood in the pocket, threw a catchable ball, a strong arm, just so relaxed too.
24-year-old from Oklahoma City, and look at him dance here. Franklin down the sideline. Is it caught? Yes, it is by Nate Kuhorn.
That is just sick. That's making a play. This kid just looks comfortable. Watch him. He's got all kinds of time. And he's and the clock's going off and said his first read's not there. Now he's kind of getting happy feet. Now he's aborting, throws off his back foot, throws a strike to Kuhorn, moving the chains. We saw a lot of that in preseason.
James Franklin brings it to the 45-yard line. He'll stay in for this series, and the reverse end around to Kenny Stafford, but going nowhere. Franklin.
Sorry, Rod, I'm just looking at Matt Nichols on the sidelines. This just looks like an opportunity for Nichols to get a different vantage point, maybe settle down a little bit, get a different flow, see if Franklin can't move the chains a bit, because special teams got Edmonton the last touchdown, and Jordan Lynch. So next up, James Franklin. Why not?
Well, here's a guy who did not get any looks from the National Football League, went to the Lions training camp, did not get any playing time, so he started emailing personnel directors in the CFL, and GMs, and Ed Hervey said, why not? Here's a guy who played with Kendall Lawrence at Mizzou, and also Michael Sam. We hear word that Montreal may see Michael Sam in the lineup coming up in early August.
And just by looking at Matt Nichols on the sidelines, he's about 10 yards, 15 yards away from, he's standing next to Mike Riley, but the offensive coordinator is 15 yards down the field. If I'm engaged in this football game, I'm standing next to the OC, trying to stay in tune with what's happening, being played, and what's being called.
Shakir Bell now. Shakir Bell with a big gain on the little drop-off pass from James Franklin. Well, right now, Matt Nichols might be standing there for a while because James Franklin has this team moving the football.
Yeah, you're going to get a release here, and this is a pretty nice job by the young quarterback with his eyes, fading away from the pressure from the backside and finding a nice soft spot. And Sam Hurl's no challenge for Shakir Bell. Franklin now goes deep. A Darius Bowman touchdown! Jump ball. Darius Bowman brings it down. Penalty flag. Yeah, to me, it looks almost like Darius stiff on the DB onto his back, but they're calling against the defense.
Result of the play is touchdown.
Darius Bowman as James Franklin puts it up in the sky. Alley-oop, and Bowman has the score.
You know, last week, a couple weeks ago, it was last week, Matt Nichols tried to do this with his receivers, just put it up and give him a chance, and he didn't get a lot of help. Well, this time, James Franklin puts it up for Darius Bowman, and he gives him some help and gets a touchdown out of it.
Well, like your first kiss, you never forget about it, and James Franklin can write this down on this date. His first touchdown toss in the CFL goes to Darius Bowman. And we may see more of James Franklin the way it's looking here right now.
No question. He looks like he belongs out there, much like a Rakeem Cato. We saw him just burst onto the scene, look very, very calm and collected out there. So does James Franklin.
So does Grant Shaw today. Puts another one through the uprights. And suddenly this game has turned, and really the turning point was that return by Kendall Lawrence. It has sparked the Eskimos. Since the rain stopped, they've taken off.
Yeah, this is a beautiful thing. This is just a this is what a team needs, is a break. Special teams gives them the break as Kendall Lawrence does his thing. And the next series they throw out the rookie quarterback James Franklin. He gives his veteran receiver a chance to go get it. Pays dividends. Eskimos in the end zone for the second time tonight.
So James Franklin, the backup, comes in. The Bombers are going to have to operate with their backup in Brian Braum, because Drew Willie, we understand, is done for the rest of this game. Hearing from the sideline that Willie injured his knee on a high-low hit. And he is on the sideline and reduced to spectator status now. 2 minutes to go, third quarter. Bombers are going to have to dig deep here under Brian Braum to try to find a way to finally get a win. It's been a long time here in Edmonton. Not looking good for them right now. Julian Feoli-Godino from his 30. Dion Lacey down there.
Not looking good at all for the Bombers. Edmonton Eskimos posted a 15-point lead right now, and special teams getting after it, flying around, creating the first big break for the Eskimos, and Dion Lacey getting in there once again. Along, that's just on a regular basis for that kid. Let's go.
I went to West Alabama, played alongside Otha Foster there.
What do we got, D?
And so the Bombers now, with Brian Braum at the helm. Cameron Marshall up the gut, dragged down by Armando Sewell.
Yeah, I think the Eskimos would be content to give him 4 yards on first down, running the football at this point. 16 minutes to go in the ball game.
And numbers are skewed. You know, you look statistically over 4 games, it's hard to get a real gauge of where everybody is and how they rank 1 to 9. But just look at last year, a team that really hasn't had much turnover. The Eskimos were 1 or 2 in most defensive categories.
Yeah, and same personnel on the football field this week as they had last week. First time in a long time that they've been able to do that.
Penalty flag, likely a holding call back there.
And that's all Kohler right there. That's a beautiful job of coming back to a well-spotted football. The ball that was thrown with nice velocity and location, and Kohler came back and made the play on the ball.
But
Winnipeg, number 57. 10-yard penalty.
Tyler
remains second down.
He's replacing Jace Daniels.
Yeah, struggling tonight too. But you know, if it wasn't Marcus Howard, it's Odell Willis. It was holding call there. He's had his troubles tonight against this Edmonton defensive line.
Well, how would you like to get placed into a game and you see some of your worst nightmares coming at you every single time?
He just destroys. It looked like Willie Jefferson.
11th penalty for the Blue Bombers against 5 for the Eskimos. Final 30 seconds, third quarter.
Pressure off the edge.
Braum settles in and delivers the football up near the 50-yard line for Adams. That's a big play and a good toss. Tight spiral from Brian Braum. Pickup of 18, make it 19 yards on the play.
Yeah, and you're going to watch something they like to do, the Eskimos, bring in the corner blitz here. Patrick Watkins off the edge. Going to bring pressure right here. You can see him sneaking in, and that's where we're going to go with the football. There's Watkins coming from his corner position. Nicely timed football again by Brian Braum.
Again, Braum has already thrown a pick, however. 4-man rush settles in, and that was intended far side for Addison Richards.
Young receiver just looked like he was kind of lost there, running into coverage, and the quarterback spotted it where he wanted him to be, but Addison Richards was coming inside in no man's land.
Only a second game in the CFL. Right now, big third quarter, finally some scores from the Edmonton Eskimos, who lead 18-3 after 3 here at Commonwealth Stadium. 18-3 heading to the fourth quarter here in Edmonton. Good news is the rain has stopped. Bad news for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. The Edmonton Eskimos have not.
No, they haven't, and they've kind of come in different ways. And we expected special teams and defense to be a big factor in this football game. And it's turned out that way. Kendall Lawrence provided the Eskimo offense with an opportunity. We saw Jordan Lynch taking in on a direct snap to him. Play designed for him and used his athletic ability. And then his defense took over. Aaron Grimes on an interception from Brian Brom. Ill-advised pass. Next thing you know, James Franklin, young quarterback in. For Matt Nichols, and he drives him, halfway down the football field and spots one to Darius Bowman, and really has put this game, out of reach for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers based on what we've seen the first 3 quarters.
This kind of has been the year of the backup quarterback, though, in so many ways, with stars going down. And maybe it'll be Brian Brom who can help lift the Blue Bombers, trying to drive his team on 2nd and 10. And a good move there as Brom kicks it outside. And he's got to go. Oh, he gets a big hit.
That's Jones.
Wow. Corey Jones
just exploded
unloads on Brian Brom.
That is, he gets flushed to his left. He's looking left. Odell Willis gets held. And then Brom's on his horse, and then bang. He gets his head in front of that and wraps him up and drives him. Brom ain't getting that.
And the Blue Bombers again have to kick the ball away. Hiralahu is going to need to ice that leg at the end of this day. Kendall Lawrence, who helped change this game in the 3rd quarter. So it has been now the battle of the backups. And will it be James Franklin coming back in for Edmonton? Indeed it is. It looks like Matt Nichols' day may be done.
I really think that they've been kind of down on Nichols. He threw 3 picks last week, although he's won his last 2 starts. His quarterback efficiency rating is the lowest in the league at 64.7. And, this kid, they really like him. And talking to Ed Hervey yesterday, he couldn't say enough about him when I asked about him. And said this kid's got so much poise, and when he gets this opportunity, he'll shine. And so far, Ed's been bang on.
Well, the power of email. If you're a recruit out there, you want to play, start emailing people as Franklin goes down, brought down. After a couple yards, Franklin was the MVP of the Independence Bowl. He won the Cotton Bowl back in 2014. He's not far removed from college.
No, he's not. And, this is Westerman coming off the edge, going to force the issue, and Batista's there. Westerman kind of loses footing and allows Franklin an opportunity to find some space, but got to get down and preserve, take advantage of this opportunity.
Nate Collins brought him down. It's 2nd down and 7 here, early 4th quarter. Skies have cleared, and that ball, the first incompletion thrown by Franklin since he came in the game, that was way behind his former Tiger teammate at Missouri, Kendall Lawrence.
That'd be a scary connection, watching those two play college. Been a lot of fun. Sure they are familiar with each other. Looked like Kendall just couldn't believe the ball wasn't located perfectly there. Kind of reached back kind of nonchalantly and tried to make a tough catch.
Well, the Blue Bombers now maybe need a spark from their special teams. Studermeyer trying to get outside, and he's not going anywhere.
That's Jordan Lynch.
Jordan Lynch, the quarterback on special teams, makes the tackle. They've got everybody doing everything today, and it's working, including a Darius Bowman.
Jordan Lynch is right about there, and he's on his horse, and he's got to run a long way.
And he's a quarterback.
Yeah, he is, and he's running down there. He's assumed this responsibility that Pat White had for the Eskimos, and he puts his head in front and makes an athletic play right there. Boy, people are excited, too, for the quarterback. That's fantastic.
So Jordan Lynch, let's put it, okay, he's got a couple carries, he has a touchdown, and he has a special teams tackle. As Cameron Marshall can't be dragged down. That's a big run for the Blue Bombers, who are still very much in this ball game, but they're going to have to get it done without Drew Willie. 12-yard gain for Cameron Marshall.
Yeah,
Arizona State.
Jordan Lynch right there. Now he's warming up. I couldn't see him. Look at him. He's smiling. His coach put me in. I'm hot.
Well, he's throwing alongside James Franklin, as it looks like Matt Nichols again is going to give way to Franklin here. See rotating quarterbacks. game that began in rain showers. It was 4-3 at the half, and the Eskimos have taken over in the second half. The Blue Bombers have not scored a touchdown against the Edmonton Eskimos since 2013.
That's just ridiculous.
And it wasn't even an offensive touchdown. The last touchdown they scored was scored by Javon Johnson on a fumble return. They're having all kinds of trouble against the Eskimos.
Last year they certainly did. Combined score of 67-12 and 2 victories for the Eskimos.
3-man rush. Brom on a 3-man rush is going down, or is he? No, he's not. Finally goes down as Koshi Mwamba puts the finishing touches, as Marcus Howard had him, a couple of others had him, and now a late penalty flag. Might be roughness or objectionable conduct. It came very late. I don't know how Brian Brom stayed on his feet.
Something after the play, away from the play.
After the play, major foul, unnecessary roughness, Winnipeg, number 4, 15 yards, 3rd down.
Darvin Adams with the infraction, and again, Liram Hairelahu will have to kick it away.
Just rushing 3, and they're going to get there. Howard off the edge forces the issue, and then the pocket's getting collapsed by
and he had him.
Ormacion, and then Howard lets him go. JC can't get to him. Finally, they do for a loss.
Kendall Lawrence, who changed the game in the 3rd quarter with an impressive kick return, almost took it to the house, capped off by Jordan Lynch. So 11:22 to go here in the 4th. The Edmonton Eskimos, they'll go the rest of the way, it looks like, with James Franklin at quarterback and a 15-point advantage. Struggles continue for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, including in discipline.
Yeah, 2 plays in a row after the play, and you're gonna up top. You got Pomprion taking a shot right there in the face of Mike Miller, top of your screen. Jones tries to hold him back, but infraction's already been called.
Blue Bombers penalties hurting them right now. James Franklin will pitch it off to Shakir Bell, and Bell pounded into the turf.
Jake Thomas running sideline to sideline or laterally, puts a lick on him as he tries to cut back.
Shakir Bell, Matty, is not having the week he had last week, but really when you think about it, the kind of rain, the kind of first half it wasn't, we're going to see a lot of offense anyways, but
you just got to be smart, just like a quarterback. Understand the situation and don't put it on the ground. And since he put it on the ground in the first series, he's been pretty reliable.
His first touch, fumbled the football. Looked good for Winnipeg early on. Not so much since. Franklin, and that's a one-hopper on the far side looking for Bell.
That's not good.
Sam Hurl watching him, the middle linebacker for the Blue Bombers, coming over from the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Yeah, nice area for a fake. 3rd and 5. Jordan Lynch holding for Grant Shaw. Craig Dickinson watching, the special teams coordinator talking to him before he goes out there. It looks like they're
they'll punt it, and Lynch stays out again as that front man, and this looks like it's another good kick. Will it get to the end zone though? What are they doing? And it's,
I think it's right at the 1.
It might be.
I think he's bringing him out to the 3 right there.
There it is, another terrific kick.
There's Craig Dickinson, special teams coordinator. Gotta love that. Gave a thumbs up to his boys. Little golf club, he's good to go.
You think about Grant Shaw's up and downs the last couple of years kicking the football. He's become one of the most proficient in the Canadian Football League. Grant Shaw.
Phenomenal leg, phenomenal athlete.
Local boy too.
Absolutely.
Played with the Saskatchewan Huskies. Former draft pick of the Argos. Played with the Argos and then came to Edmonton. Part of that Ricky Ray trade. And a long field for Brian Brom. And an uphill fight for the Blue Bombers. Big mountain to climb here. Down 2 possessions. Here comes the blitz. Brom identifies and throws against the grain. It's picked off by J.C. Sherritt. And Sherritt now pitches it out to McCoyle. And down he goes. And another Winnipeg turnover. The Eskimos take over right in the Winnipeg score zone.
Yeah, this is nicely done by the Eskimos. More pressure from the field. They're going to wash them in here. And then two players coming from out of the screen are going to come here, and it forces Braum to his left. There's the pressure. He's flushed, drops his elbow, throws a strike, puts it down. Ball's flipping in the air. Addison Richards can't protect it. And then it gets crazy from there. J.C. Sherrod gets up and does something the defensive coordinator, ill-advised, pitching it back, trying to make stuff happen, gives it to the big 6'4" Dexter McCall, and he attracts a bunch of attention in a hurry. That's defense taking over. Brian Braum backed up. Defense pressures the quarterback into making a mistake. Receiver puts it in the air, kind of volleyballs it up, and the rest is history.
Franklin now. Eskimos 1 for 1 in the score zone, and that is Shakir Bell again. So this Eskimo team now 9 minutes away from securing their third win of the season, putting them into first place in the West. And a chance to really salt it away here. And how about J.C. Sherrod? Outstanding defensive player back in 2012, has had some injury issues. Back in the middle for the Eskimos with Rennie Curran no longer here. Position he loves. Franklin wants to throw. He throws to the end zone. He's got it. Touchdown, Kenny Stafford. Spin to win. 15-yard touchdown strike, and an easy one. Kenny Stafford was all by himself.
Well, you saw Beard and Calvin McCarty come off the field, and on went Miles along with Stafford. This throwing situation, and this is protection up front. Giving the young quarterback an opportunity for great vision. Throws a strike in there, Stafford. Nobody's close to him. Stands in there, throws a nice touch pass on the target. Money for Kenny Stafford.
Well, the Blue Bombers, Matt Dunnigan, have not helped themselves because those are two touchdowns that have resulted because of turnovers. Stafford's second major as a member of the Eskimos, a guy who was traded for Fred Stamps from the Alouettes, and Grant Shaw's having a great day today. Another point after. And the way it's looking right now, the Eskimos, they are rolling. James Franklin, his second touchdown toss. Well, Kenny Stafford, the latest to hit the end zone. So if you go back, Matt Dunnigan, I'm going to do some quick math.
All right. Good luck.
92 to 15. The Edmonton Eskimos last three games over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, dating back to last season, and the Bombers still yet to score a touchdown, and it's not going to be easy with that guy out of the ballgame.
No, and you know it's just killing.
And maybe out for a while. So
yeah, are we going to continue to see Brian Braum, or are we going to see Robert Marv? You know, that's the question in my mind. I think Blue Bomber fans might be asking that question as well.
Stoudemire is brought down by Mike Miller, and again, the Eskimos now taking it to the special teams, defense and offense, and it's still Brian Braum. So how about the other question, though, about the Eskimos? And, you know, the sky's cleared. They went to a quarterback change. You got Mike Riley, who is probably another, 8 weeks away, maybe. We saw him before the game, and he is their guy. There is no doubt. Then you have Matt Nichols, who appeared to be the heir apparent while Mike Riley was convalescing.
One ugly 2 weeks in a row, but he did win, right?
And now James Franklin steps up, and you've got Jordan Lynch,
who's done his thing tonight. It's been done by committee, that's for sure, for the Edmonton Eskimos as well.
Oh, another pick. Patrick Watkins, hot potato. He's got some blocks now, too. Patrick Watkins will get down to the 20-yard line and more. And it's getting ugly for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. The ball thrown behind Darvin Adams into double team coverage. And all Drew Willie can do is watch.
Yeah, this is This is a nice ball. I mean, here's Patrick Watkins. This is the man he's covering. He's going to simply go up in here. It's going to be a back shoulder throw. And this is spotted beautifully by Braum. Right in the hands. And then it's volleyballed up and again. Edmonton comes away with another turnover.
Well, maybe now with the
Winnipeg
25
is challenging
to
that there was
3.
defensive pass interference on the play. We will review it.
Well, they may have a real case here. They didn't win that other one. As you can see, Dexter McCoyle also got an assist on that. So they're going to look at this one, and it may seem like Patrick Watkins. Let's take a look beforehand.
What?
Well, I don't know.
I thought that the last one, too, on Couch Mwamba was defensive pass interference, but that wasn't overturned. So let the folks at home decide. Right off the leg of Patrick Watkins.
So they'll await the decision. Well, there's a push right there. And
well, they both kind of pushed hands out on each other at the same time. The ball hits Patrick Watkins in his left thigh pad.
And off the head as well. Watch this. By the way, the Eskimos.
Both of them are reaching out there.
And off there it is. By the way, the Eskimos have Jordan Lynch in the huddle now, so they're going to their third string quarterback now. This is pretty much mop-up time, and still there's a lot of time left, but the Blue Bombers have shown no resistance offensively.
No, it's not. They haven't showed the ability to score points today at all. But Jordan Lynch is in red zone offensive situation here. This is a package, Rod, that they have for him down here. It's not that they're sending down James Franklin. This is just a territory that you'll see Jordan Lynch run the offense with plays designed for to utilize his athletic ability.
Well, you've seen some of that athletic ability already today. Special teams tackle, already has a touchdown.
They love this kid coming out of training camp. He fit the description that they needed for this role, this particular role. Run a package, a red zone package, a short yardage package, and help on teams, give you more options on teams, and Jordan Lynch has fit that to a T.
Again, awaiting the verdict here. How about the Blue Bombers? Since 1:26 left in the first quarter, when they had a field goal, they have had 8 punts and 3 interceptions. They have not scored since.
That's pretty good coverage there, and I think both people are turning, looking to try to play the football. A gift from the gods. And then it's off to the races.
Watkins, if this holds, would be his second interception of the young season. Perennial all-star on the corner. Spent some time in the National Football League.
Yeah, he did. He certainly did. Patrick Watkins, 5 NFL seasons, 39 games. He had 91 tackles, 4 picks, and 2 forced fumbles in his time in the National Football League. And he's been a Chris Jones guy, whether that's been in Toronto or here in Edmonton. Been following Jonesy around. Jonesy likes his guys. And if you're his guy, he's going to take you where he's at.
Well, Chris Jones, known for his defensive mastery. 6 Grey Cup appearances, 3 Grey Cup wins as an assistant.
Yeah, a guy that earned his stripes as an assistant. Certainly well respected across the league, is one of the best. Along with Rich Stuhler, defensive coordinators. Richie Hall, he can throw his name in there as well over the years, last 2 decades anyways, and those guys
After
have dominated.
review, it's been determined that we have defensive pass interference on Edmonton, number 9. The ball will be placed at the 45-yard line. Automatic first down, Winnipeg.
So Mike O'Shea is saying hallelujah. Something finally goes Winnipeg's way. And Patrick Watkins, you got to get back on the field. They're getting a break here too, because that ball was way underthrown.
Yeah, it wasn't spotted as well as I thought it was. It's on the inside shoulder as opposed to the outside. And tough the receiver, Darvin Adams, to make a play on that one.
So let's see if the Blue Bombers, with 7:43 to go, can summon something here. They load it up again. Look out. Ryan Braum Finds Fayoli Godino, and another penalty flag in the backfield.
And it's going to be a late hit, roughing on Marcel Young and a quarterback. And boy, it's really close. And I'm watching the whole time.
Edmonton, number 23. 15 yards, automatic first down.
Marcel Young coming on a blitz on the blind side.
Yeah, it's pretty simple to see. And you're going to watch this. Is he going to be able to get there? And he's coming free. Quarterback's got his back to him, his vulnerable position. Does he get there? Ball's out. And that's a football play, in my opinion. He's in the. I don't know how you can avoid that.
1st and 10. Winnipeg at the Edmonton 43. Brom hanging in, a wobbler over the head of his intended target, Colehurt. Tough spot here for Brian Brom, forced into the game with the injury to Drew Willie. If you're just joining us, this game began under a rain shower that lasted until the 3rd quarter. And the offense has really had a tough time getting any traction, hanging on to the football. It was 4-3 at the half. It's been all Edmonton in the 2nd half. And Drew Willie went down and out with injury.
Matt Nichols went down and out with lack of production, and it's been James Franklin for the Edmonton Eskimos.
Here they're loading it up again. Here come the Eskimos. The football out to Addison Richards again. He can't hang on. Richards had a catch last week in his debut, but no catches so far today.
You know, if I'm Matt Nichols, I'm thinking, okay, sure. James Franklin, teammate. Anybody can throw a dry ball. You know, what about the first 3 quarters when I was having to chunk that wet thing around?
Isn't life timing? No, you got to.
Yeah, absolutely, it's timing.
You got to get your opportunities. So the Blue Bombers will hang on 3rd and 10 and go after this, trying to keep the drive alive. And it's tipped and it's caught by Adams, but way short of the first down. They'll turn it over on downs. You look at this game, Matty, go back to that first half when Winnipeg had some momentum, drove it so close to the Edmonton goal line. By all accounts, missed an opportunity to get a touchdown and haven't had a sniff since.
And that's, you talk about timing, and you take advantage of your opportunities. And throughout any football game, talk to any football guy, they'll say a handful of plays, 4 or 5 at the most, will make a difference. That was one of them early.
Mike O'Shea's Blue Bombers look like they're heading back to Winnipeg, 2 and 3. Next week they have the BC Lions. Trying to drag down Shakir Bell. They can't. No way. Shakir Bell shakes one and another. He could go down the sidelines and go all the way. Bell high stepping. Oh! Out at the 4-yard line. What an electric run from Shakir Bell. 69 yards. He got a lot of help from his friends too.
That's amazing. Nate Collins can't secure him in the backfield as he gets his paws on him right there. He slips free, and then he does what we got accustomed to last week. He's gone. Slippery.
It's like a flea in shoulder pads. Lynch down to the 1-yard line. Jordan Lynch will stay in here, close to the goal line. Shakir Bell, well, again, he's had kind of a pedestrian day compared to his debut last week, but guess what? He just added to his run totals.
Okay, if you're John Cornish, you know, if you talk about Marshawn Lynch or Emmitt Smith back in the day, for the, you know, they'd be in check for 3.5 quarters of the ball game, and boom, a big 70-yarder, and
John Cornish
lights out. Exactly, John Cornish does it all the time. And we just saw Shakir Bell there. He's been in check all day, and then bang, he makes a miraculous play.
So Lynch, and the flag falls.
13 men in the
huddle. Too many men in the huddle.
Edmonton.
This will change the play considerably. Second down.
Yeah, it will.
And now they're going to have to think about throwing the football as Shakir Bell looks as well over to the official, and they had one too many in the huddle.
Yeah, getting back to the running backs, you can throw in a Andrew Harris there. You can throw in a Brandon Whitaker. There's a ton of backs in this league that have that explosive ability. The guy who was sat down last night, Siobhan Walker, right? He didn't even play. And he's a guy, you talk about explosive. could be the fastest player in the league.
James Franklin comes back in. Bell in the backfield. Some blocking help. 5 minutes to go. Franklin tosses it up. End zone. Bowman. Touchdown.
All he does is throw TDs.
Hat trick. Darius Bowman. Darius Bowman.
Let's go, baby, Eskimo Nation!
It's his second score of the day from James Franklin.
I like that. They just flatten them out. They got an extra offensive lineman. They got 7 offensive linemen in the block. Flattens the defense out. You get one-on-one coverage to the outside, and Darius Bowman's going to win that 9 out of 10 times. That's a no-brainer. Put it up there, James Franklin. Get your 3rd of the night.
And James Franklin with the hat trick and touchdown passes when a guy who probably may have not have been thinking that he was even going to play today.
No.
And especially maybe in the first half when it was raining and coming down, I'm thinking, maybe I don't want to play. And the sky's cleared, and guess what? James Franklin
flipped to the last chapter of the book, and it's like 3 TD passes, victory. Nicely done. Seizing his opportunity.
Grant Shaw, the Eskimos, have dismantled the Blue Bombers over the last 2 seasons. 4.5 to go.
100-15.
Yeesh.
That's just pitching and catching, spotting the ball. Johnny Adams is the victim. One-on-one with one of the best in the league.
See, I think the first 2 were souvenirs for James Franklin, but I think, now it's Old Hat trick.
Now it's like, now he's having problems in his trophy room. I got no more space. I got to get a bigger trophy room. Look at that. There's playmakers right there. Nate Cooler, and he's looking to get in the mix. Certainly Darius Bowman has. He's made all 3 of his catches.
You know what? As a backup, you need that door to open for you, however it opens, and things happen, and it could change your path. I mean, I'm sure it happened to you. It's happened to so many others. And Nat Nichols may be wondering as well.
And he's had an opportunity, 6-year player, and it's just he's won ugly the last 2 weeks, and today he could get the credit for this start because he started and his team's won. He could be 3-0 and benched, which is very odd in and of itself.
Yeah, usually you get Wally pipped by injury.
Right, but he went out and started his ball game, was winning the ball game, was pulled, and could be benched after being 3-0 as a starter this year.
And unless there was some unforeseen injury, but we did not see any of that.
I didn't see it.
So James Franklin comes in, throws 3 touchdown strikes.
Then the other side of the ball, you've got Brian Braun playing for Drew Willie, who's down in that football franchise is looking for answers right now.
Well, they may be looking down the road, and that could have been another interception as the Eskimos looking to ice this one now. Give the Eskimo credit to their defense as well in this ball game because they have given the Blue Bombers conniptions.
As well as the weather, and then the Eskimos just tightened things up and played things close to the vest offensively until the skies parted and James Franklin took the field and started throwing touchdown passes. And the Eskimos haven't let up. They've been relentless defensively for 4 quarters.
Those 4 horsemen in the front put a lot of heat on. Play clock came down to 0.
Yeah, Rob,
Time violation. Winnipeg, number 12.
Talking about the last 3 games.
Remain second down.
Do the math again. 30. Is that 32?
Yes, sir.
99-15.
Well, I think Mike O'Shea doesn't have to be told. And it's only 1 of 18, and you never know how you can bounce back, but they're going to need a big bounce back after this one. And
I told him yesterday, I said, Coach, you know you hadn't won here since 2006. You knew that, didn't you?
Did he say thanks?
No, he said, no, I didn't. Well, something to think about.
Brom over the top, and that was thrown behind Clarence Denmark. So they got bigger issues to think about, never mind this loss.
No.
they got to think about the future of their quarterback and Drew Willie, what's going on with him, his health. And they're going to have to put this one behind them because last week was a difficult one. And as Mike O'Shea said, hey, we can't hang our heads after such heartbreak. They were up 16-0, up 16 points against the Calgary Stampeders and lost that game last week.
Heartbreaking. Said they rebounded well in day one of this week on a short week. Come here to play Edmonton. And they were saying all the right things, doing all the right things, but it just hadn't played out that way for them.
Well, especially in the second half. Franklin will finish this baby off, it looks like.
Well, next week, Winnipeg's got BC, right?
4 yards. Winnipeg #1. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Sorry, Kim Murphy, I don't mean to speak over you there, but Winnipeg's looking at BC. And so they went Calgary, Edmonton, BC. Really important 3 games, and they're looking to start at 0-2 there. And looking at facing BC, who's coming off a loss themselves after jumping out to a big start, 21-point lead.
21-0.
With the backup quarterback, whether it's Brian Brahm or Robert Marv, look for Dominic Davis to come on board and be activated. 14th quarterback for the Bombers. And they're searching for answers right now.
Bell again. Well, it's so fleeting. Ask any of the teams early in the season. Ask the Saskatchewan Roughriders losing Darian Durant how this game predicated so much on 1 or 2 guys all of a sudden going out of the lineup. 3-minute warning. Blue Bombers will head home. 0-4 Alberta. Darius Bowman, another sensational catch. 32-3. The CFL on TSN is brought to you by GMC. We are professional grade. Game that began in a downpour for 30 minutes. Sun setting now in Edmonton, and on this ball game, James Franklin coming in relief of Matt Nichols, who left the game with the lead. Franklin's taken over and put on a clinic. That one is incomplete. And it makes you wonder going forward as well if James Franklin might be the guy starting next week's ball game. I hate to put you on the spot.
No, I can see that. I can see that happening. I feel that happening. Although we talked about it, Matt Nichols probably he'll get the credit for this victory on paper and being 3-0 as a starter. And be
it's
benched.
A nice dilemma they have right now, mind you. Quarterbacks are
well. No, you want your quarterbacks to assert themselves every week. And Matt Nichols has found a way to win ugly for 2 weeks, and Franklin's come in and won this football game with some easy touchdown throws.
Grant Shaw's had a terrific game. Is this another one angled to the coffin corner? There's a penalty flag down. Here's the thing about Matt Nichols, in defense of him as well, because I know all the hotlines and the Twitter feeds will all be lighting up about who's going to be the quarterback for Edmonton. But Matt Nichols also had to win in rain last week as well. 2 weeks in a row, rain has been falling.
Absolutely, but the other team's playing in it, and you need to find a way, and he has found a way.
Edmonton 55. Too many men. Winnipeg will replay 3rd down.
So I really believe that we have seen a change, and it's just not for this football.
Boy,
game.
It's an interesting change, though, all of a sudden, isn't it?
I don't think it's been all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I think that it's been festering for a couple of weeks, although he's won, and the team's won.
But this guy also had to prove himself. He had to come in and prove himself, and he did.
Well, yeah, he made a couple plays out there, made a couple nice throws. His players went up and made plays for him, whereas last week you didn't see that happen for Nichols. And 3 interceptions he threw. He's throwing the ball up, and the ball wasn't played well by his teammates. Tonight it was for James Franklin.
Again, Mike Riley still 8 weeks or so away, maybe less. If you saw Mike Riley, he was on the sideline today. Last time we saw him coming in, he had crutches for his PCL, of course. And Mike Riley, who was helping out the quarterbacks. It must be very interesting for Mike Riley, who's very close with the guy they call Ice, Matt Nichols, who helps out all the quarterbacks because he's
out here making tackles.
He's the mentor. Did you hear that? He said, how about Jordan Lynch out here making tackles?
Yeah. Well, this has been a tough one, Rod. We're going back and forth talking about, who's the player of the game, a Titan player of the game is for the Eskimos. And defensively, interiorly, we talk about it, good push up the middle.
Can you give it to 12 guys?
I think you could. I'd like to. Grant Shaw, to me, is a candidate as well because he's punting the ball exceptionally well.
He's been perfect. Field goals and point afters. But it's been a huge defensive effort.
Yeah, it has. I mean, it's more the same, but it's just spread out. And, we talked about at the beginning of the show, when your middle linebacker coming into game 4 has only got 6 tackles, you know that something's going right defensively. Everybody's, the love and the production is being spread across the field.
How about Odell Willis, too? Everything he went through last week, and, he was contrite this week. And Odell Willis, who likes to talk a lot about the game himself and his team, had a lot of regret after last week. What happened? It almost cost his team the game. But I think this band of brothers, these Eskimos, it's not all about one person. It's not all about J.C. Sherritt. It's not about Marcus Howard.
They rotate 7 defensive linemen in consistently. 3 interior and 3 guys and 4 on the edge. It's just amazing how they rotate that around.
And the puppeteer is Chris Jones, who has been doing that here. A team that was 4-14 a couple of years ago, 12-6 last year, and on the verge of going to 3-1. Matty,
that's not bad. Moving 15-7 as head coach for the Edmonton Eskimos, and tough Western Division. Confusion for the Bombers running off the field. Going with the big unit there, but they kept the offense on the field.
3rd and 1. They'll continue to drive the football, but Blue Bomber team again that started so well last season and then got derailed. And they've got work to do.
Bringing the chains out. We're going to measure this. Could be another turnover for the Bombers. Looked like confusion on what they wanted to do there. A short yardage team, or keep the offensive unit on the field, and they chose to do that, and Brom tried to sneak it, and not sure if he got the yardage.
Just by the nose of a football.
Well, that would have been fitting if they didn't get that first down.
It's been that kind of second half.
I mean, but the only momentum that they had is when Chris Jones decided to go on a 3rd down punt fake, 3rd and 10. It was not effective, and Winnipeg got the ball back and couldn't get any points out of it.
Brom again. Fioli Godino, 1st down. Mop-up time here. The Bombers trying to find a way to the end zone and this drought. And the drought will continue here in Edmonton. Have not won since 06.
These are why stats are misleading sometimes, because the Bombers are moving the chains and getting some first downs here late in a meaningless situation.
And Brian Brom just got pummeled.
Aided. Otha Foster just comes free off the edge. Well, he's lucky his helmet wasn't in his ribs.
All the talk about the remade O-line.
Comes right here, right into his rib cage. Say hello to number 37.
That's why they wear flak jackets.
That's why they got barbecue out there for the ribs.
And another toss, a completion again to Fioli Godino. So much talk in Winnipeg in the offseason about the remade O-line and having success early on in this season and trying to make sure they protect their quarterbacks. They could not protect Drew Willie in this game. Eskimos got him out, knocked him out, maybe for the next little while.
And the challenge gets even more difficult when you're trailing like they are, throwing the football, run games out of the question. So,
and a guy who doesn't throw the ball very much, hasn't seen a lot of reps.
Loose. Yeah, all heck's breaking loose. But Brian Brom is now in a territory where he's gotten to play several games. And tough situations for the football team, trailing basically run game. Yeah, that's just, and that tells a big story too. Undisciplined play. I don't think any coach would be happy with those numbers.
Almost 200 yards and penalties, 17 infractions. Eskimos still bringing the
Pressure.
heat. More pressure. Braum can't escape. Wrapped up, brought down. Willie Jefferson. And they roll over again.
This is a jailbreak. This is a jailbreak, and they bring pressure. They're relentless. They're not giving up. They're tired of them moving the chains. Everybody's coming, and you're going to see pressure from the top too. It's going to be, and one coming from depth. Comes late. That's just putting an exclamation point on the dominance.
4 sacks for the Eskimos. The Bombers had been averaging, just giving up 2 per game. Last year, when they gave up 71, they were averaging 4 a game. So it's been a nightmarish second half here for the Blue Bombers in Edmonton. They can't wait for this thing to tick down and go home. And once again, Kendall Lawrence spins out of bounds. Lawrence really helped change the game. A lot of people changed the game. You can give it to the entire defense, but our Nissan Titan Player of the Game is brought to you by Nissan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League. And it is.
Absolutely love what Grant Shaw did in this football game. Located the football with some bombs and some depth and some location. Was perfect on his field goals. Grant Shaw playing this game the way it was supposed to be played on some terrible conditions, really pinned the Winnipeg Blue Bombers off some terrible field position all night long.
And when you think about the Drew Willie play, that was another play where they were with the shadows of their goalpost because of what Grant Shaw was able to do and pin them deep. They never had a chance to gain any momentum offensively because Shaw continued to pin them.
Yeah, it was special teams and defense that did it for the Edmonton Eskimos tonight, and I don't have a problem recognizing Grant Shaw and the excellent game he played.
Because you can't give it to 12 defenders.
Well, you could, but I just, nobody really dominated. They dominated as a football team. They dominated special teams, and Grant Shaw was a big part of that.
Well, whatever they said at halftime, and maybe it was the football gods that cleared the skies, and James Franklin also could have been the player of the game. A smile on his face. He'll remember this day forever.
Absolutely. I mean, just came in and did what he's supposed to do and made throws and gave his receivers an opportunity. Eskimos dominant over the Bombers.
Absolutely dominant. The Edmonton Eskimos in the second half scored 28 unanswered points, and they hammer the Winnipeg Blue Bombers again. Commonwealth Stadium for Winnipeg has been a house of horrors. Everybody chipping in. Darius Bowman a couple of touchdowns. James Franklin a hat trick of touchdown tosses. The final is 32-3. The Eskimos move to 3-1. So long, everybody from Edmonton. Sports Center is coming up right now.